everybody. Welcome back to another week. Joe Aiello here with Bulldog Bob Brown. And Bob, before we get to today's lineup, that big tour in February, before and after Valentine's Day, I tell you, it's going to be a good one. The main event featuring Chris Markoff, Shigadnon, El Casey. After those interference repeatedly on Ken Patera, Ken Patera went out, got Scott Norton as his partner. That one, the main event as well. You in that dog collar match against the French Mad Dog, where both of you will be attached with a collar and a 15-foot chain.
Well, they're certainly talking about St. Valentine's Massacre. The month of February is certainly going to be exciting. With those two matches alone, you'd have to get your tickets real early because they'll go real fast. But as far as today's card, I'm excited about today's program. When you got Kerry Pitbull Brown against Ken Patera, you got Norton against Shikel and El Casey. It's got to be fireworks, and I tell you, I'm looking forward to the hour.
What more can I say? Let's go up to the ring for all the great action.
Boy, I'm certainly looking forward to this match, Joe. I tell you, I didn't think Pelican was going to be back after we almost broke his leg. I thought he'd be out, but I see he's back now.
Well, you better believe he's back, a long rehabilitation, but he is back, and Bob, he's been asking for you from that day you injured that leg on, and I'm telling you, it has been signed by promoter Tony Condello for our great television audience across Canada next week on this very program, a dogfight between you and the French Mad Dog.
I'm sorry, Joe. You know, I'm your sidekick in announcing, and I can't go in the ring and wrestle Pelican.
You need more than a kick in the side, if you ask me, and the Dog's the man to do it, because you almost ended the man's career, Bulldog, doing some severe leg damage to those ligaments, but he is back and fine-tuned. He says he's 110% ready for you next week.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I'm an announcer right now. I'm not wrestling right now. I'm here doing a great wrestling show for the promoters. I have got no idea about this match, so I can't answer you people while I'm here or not.
Bob, are you chickening out or what? That sounds like you're stalling here if you ask me. Are you a little scared, Bob, of maybe the French Mad Dog?
What have I got to be scared of? I've been around professional wrestling for 15 years. I've wrestled the best. Hey, listen, you know what I would do to him? I think I'd beat the puppy dog in about 5 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for certain, Bulldog, it'll be a great match next week, but you're saying you can't wrestle because you're announcing now. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'll tell you one thing for certain, the French Mad Dog is not letting that leg bother him right now against Johnny Starr. He's looking in great shape.
Well, he just arm dragged him, but while he arm dragged him, he pulled him by the back of his hair. That's how he got him down. You know, Puppy Dog couldn't get anybody down. I'll tell you the truth, he couldn't get anybody down without cheating. He's the biggest cheater in all of the world.
Oh, yeah, maybe next to you. What are you guys both tied for first? Come on, the fans love the French Mad Dog, Bob. And if you ask me, I don't think you want to wrestle the French Mad Dog after what you did to his leg. But we will see what happens next week, wrestling fans. Tune in. You're not going to want to miss that dog fight. We'll find out who's going to be the top dog. Will it be Bulldog Bob Brown or the French Mad Dog?
Well, there's only one Bulldog, and you're listening to him talking. And there's no other Bulldog.
The dog moves out of the way, but this Johnny Starr can sure fly in that ring, Bob, and it looks like he might have put his elbow out because the dog is going right back to work on that arm.
Well, I know what Johnny Starr is doing. Johnny Starr is letting him do everything right now, and when the opportunity arrives, Johnny Starr will just turn it all around and beat a Puppy Dog. That's what I predict. And you know, when I predict something, Joe, it usually comes true.
All right, we'll have to see what transpires. Wow, did Johnny Starr get up there? Big flying drop kick, Bob, an impressive youngster.
What did I just finish telling you? He's got Puppy Dog on the run now.
I can't believe it. Johnny Starr is definitely doing the wrong thing here. He's fighting the Mad Dog, and there's nobody better at fighting than the French Mad Dog. He's going up top, and he lands on the head there, and the dog doesn't know whether he's coming or going, Bob.
Oh, I tell you, I like this match. I tell you, he's going to beat Puppy Dog.
Why don't you get it straight, Bob? It's Mad Dog. Mad Dog. M-A-D-D-O-G.
Mad Dog, Puppy Dog, hey.
And Johnny Starr is going to work on that leg of the dog. I don't know if he saw that match between yourself and the Psycho and the dog and Bill Cody, but someone must have told him, Bob. I don't know if you clued him in about that leg or not.
Oh, I can tell you is Johnny Starr knows what he's doing, and I tell you, he knows that we hurt his leg. And listen, it's only a matter of time before he gives up.
Well, he's working over that leg anyway, the French Mad Dog. And the French Mad Dog, he's trying to regain composure in that leg. And he's putting Johnny Starr to the boot, and that's it. He's raking at the back of the dog.
See what I'm telling you? He's scratching. He's like a cat. He's not a puppy dog. He's a cat. And now the referee's not doing nothing about it. The referee should move right in and disqualify. And you want me to wrestle this guy next week?
Yeah, well, it sounds like to me the only cat's here, you, a scaredy cat, because you don't want to step in the ring with him. And the dog is going to work now, Riggin, and Johnny Starr's turned this one around. The dog lands that big elbow. This might be all she wrote for Johnny Starr, a 2 count. And referee Jack Quayle is signaling for the bell.
Well, you know, Puppy Dog was in the corner. The referee should have broken up. And all I can tell you is, hey, listen, he won an illegal match. He cheated. He scratched like a cat. Hey, let's go to Joe in the ring and talk to the Mad Dog. Or should I say, the Wild Cat.
Victorious once again here on the WFWA, the French Mad Dog. And Dog, it's good to have you back after sustaining that serious leg injury.
Yes, it is nice to be back. Bulldog Brown, you hurt my leg, but you didn't stop me. I'm going to get back at you, and this time, ain't going to be the end of it. You're going to get a broken leg, Bulldog Brown.
You know, the thing is, Dog, the Bulldog has been ducking you wherever we've been on tour, the WFWA, and this time promoter Tony Condello has done it. It will be on television next week, a match between you and the Bulldog.
Yes, that's right, folks. The Bulldog is Tiger's no way out. You see, he can run away like a little chihuahua, but he cannot do that. He's going to face the French Mad Dog right here in the ring, and I'm going to take care of business myself. You better be there, Brown.
All right, the dog fight will take place on this very program between the French Mad Dog and Bulldog Bob Brown.
Bulldog Bob Brown, yeah. Big Bad Brown, whatever. Bring him in.
The dog is saying it might be the last time you see him on TV, fans, so make sure you tune in. We'll be back with more great wrestling action right after this.
Last night, I dreamed of a fabulous snack. Croissant from McCain, to be quite exact. Light, flaky crusts topped with fruits I adore. I could have right away through the microwave door. There was blueberry custard, apple, and more.
Ken Patera doing battle with the Pitbull, Kerry Brown. The bell has sounded, Bulldog. I know you're excited because your son's in there, but you got to be excited just for being a part of it. Ken Patera and Kerry Pitbull Brown.
Oh, yeah, all I can tell you is it's going to... I've been looking forward to this battle since last week. Kerry's going to take it right to him. Hey, listen, Kerry's got a lot of class. He was caught right, and I told him he was a little nervous, but after I got through talking to him, I quieted him down a little bit. I said, I want a big match from you, and go out and win at any cost.
Well, I mean, you know, he risks a big injury here against Ken Patera. He's already signed on that big tour to take on Baron Von Raschke. And Brown running out of the ring here. And he's telling Kerry Brown to back off the rope. And you talk about another conference call here between father and son. And Patera says he's had enough. Let's get on with this. And I don't blame him. All right. And Ken Patera is screaming loudly here at Kerry Pitbull Brown. Let's see if we can get in on this conversation. All right, the words of Kerry Pitbull Brown. He's worse than you are. No comment. I'll tell you one thing for sure. Ken Patera's got to be a little worried, too, because he's got that big match as well on that tour. In that tag match with Scott Flash Norton taking on Markoff and El Casey. That one should be a barn burner.
He might not even be here.
All right. We're going to find out in due time, aren't we, Bob? On a block there. All right. Ken Patera backing up the Pitbull, and Bob, it backfired on your son.
backfired. He knows what he's doing. Don't you kid yourself. He knows every moment that he's in that ring. He knows everything that he's going to do. He's a very, very, very shrewd operator. He was taught by the best, and he's not going to let nobody down.
Well, they're locking up right now in the squared circle. Patera and Brown. And this one should be a real test of strength. And Patera wins it. Patera winning that big bronze medal in 1972 in the Olympic Games. Also one of the world's best shot putters.
One thing about it, you said bronze. I guess he wasn't the best. He never won the gold.
Come on, Bulldog, you know what it takes to become an Olympic athlete in the first place? You've got to be one of the best going.
I won all the gold medals when I went there.
Oh, here we go. Bob, I mean, really, don't take me for a fool all the time, but I don't think you've ever been to the Olympics, all right? You've maybe watched them on TV, but that doesn't make you an Olympic athlete, all right?
I'm an expert when it comes to the Olympics. I've seen it all.
We'll get back to you fans at home whether or not Bulldog Bob Brown decides on taking a job in the world of politics or not. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you one thing, he's got his mouth running for him.
Hey, we're going to do all our talking in the month of February. Hey, when you put a dog collar around me and you give me a 15-foot chain in the ring, can you imagine how dangerous Bulldog Bob Brown's going to be? You want to know something? I might consider taking the French Mad Dog's eye right out with the chain.
Oh, come on, Bulldog. We'll have to see what happens in that one. But right now, Kerry Brown might be going home tonight with one arm longer than the other if Ken Patera has anything to do with it. I tell you, these two guys are two of the true giants in professional wrestling. Both men evenly matched in both weight and in height.
They certainly got Kerry Brown. Now, he's got a hold on Kerry Brown. He's doing something more today than I saw him in the last 2 or 3 weeks. He's really had some easy matches. But today, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, right now, Brown trying to get a rest outside the ring to regain his composure, if you will. And Ken Patera just methodically walking around the ring, pacing, trying to get a hold. And another conference. That's right, I agree with Ken Patera 100%.
Keep it to yourself.
I'll tell the people at home, these two men want to chit-chat, maybe have a tea party. Someone order them both a couple of cups of tea. And Ken Patera, I tell you, you got to be frustrated with this, and these two men know what they're doing out here. Ken Patera yelling at you, Bulldog, that you better give your son some good advice. Ricky Jones, the third man in the ring, and he's got his work cut out for him. Well, there you see Kerry Brown psyching himself up, Bulldog. What did you say to him?
Oh, I just told him a few things. I'm going to go up and I'm going to give him a few pointers.
Holy crow, I can't believe. Another conference, for crying out loud. There's no timeouts in the world of professional. All right, Ken Patera just stomping on the hands of Bulldog Bob Brown. All right. Oh, Bulldog Bob Brown now yelling at him. Bulldog Bob Brown getting his hand stepped on. Bulldog, come on over here for a second. What does it feel like to have 275 pounds step on your hands, Bulldog? He wants to watch now on his son. Tony, you saw what happened. It's about time. There's no timeouts in professional. Here he comes again. You saw what happened. Ken Patera stepping on the hands of Bulldog Bob Brown, and Bob screaming now that he has no reason to do that.
Well, the way I see it, I do not know why Bulldog Bob Brown, you know, every time I see that name, I always say wrong because it is wrong to start. What did he have his hand on the mat, I'd like to know.
Well, why don't we ask him? He's joined us back here at ringside, Bob. I thought you deserved it.
I went up to talk to my son, Kerry the Pitbull Brown. Can I go up and talk to my own son without some maniac stepping on my hand?
Well, you might have to suffer a lot worse when you step into that squared circle in that dog collar match. I'm a little terrified for you and the dog both, believe it or not, Bob. And I'll tell you why, because I've seen one of those matches once before, and I'll tell you, it was a bloodbath. Fans, if you can't stand to see blood, please stay home, because that one is going to be an all-time encounter, and we have it for you right here in the WFWA.
Very well said.
Right now, your son might have taken your advice, I don't know, but he's going to work with that bottom rope strand. That bottom strand crossing the throat of Ken Patera. I don't know, Bob, is that what you told him or what?
Just told him to go right after him.
And a karate thrust to the throat. And Kerry Brown going for that pin. 2 count. Now Brown introducing Mr. Patera to that turnbuckle. Ken Patera, man, he's been around for a lot of years. A fan favorite wherever he goes. And he blocks another one, and another one. Patera hasn't lost it all, and a few right hands, and another one, a big elbow. And a whip coming, and here it is. Brown coming back, and that elbow lands right on the chin. And Patera is just incensed now. He's telling Brown to get up. A big knee. These two men are going at it. 2 true heavyweights like Cooney and Foreman a couple of weeks back. And big clothesline. That one almost leveled your son into next week. And Kerry Brown has stepped out of the ring. What's he doing, Bob?
I don't know what's happening to Kerry.
Come on, Kerry Brown is walking towards the dressing room.
Well, listen, I really don't blame him for walking, because I tell you what, the referee favors Ken Patera all night long. I don't blame him for walking out either.
That's right. I agree with Ken Patera yelling over here. If that's the advice you gave him, the referee has called this one a count out on your son. The winner, the Olympic strongman Ken Patera.
I tell you, when you go up there and talk to him, Joe, let me remind you one thing, that Ken Patera caused all this, and the referee couldn't control this match.
You know, wrestling fans, that big tour is just this far away, and Ken Patera, Kerry Brown walked out, father like son as far as I'm concerned, but you got to be thinking about that big tag team match on this tour. It will be you and Scott Flash Norton taking on Chris Markoff and Sheik Adnan El Casey, and this had to happen. Too many interferences on their part, and I'm telling you right now, you've got to be incensed and happy in another way.
That's right, I am. I'm going to tell you something, Sheik Adnan El Casey and Chris Markoff. Just like Kerry Von Erich took a pike, or Kerry Von Erich, what I'm talking, Kerry Brown, listening to his old man's advice. If you get in trouble, just take a hike. Well, I'm going to tell you, Adnan and Chris Markoff, you're not going to be able to run, and you're not going to be able to hide, because when Scott Norton and Ken Patera get through with you, you'll be crawling out of the ring, either that or carted off with assistance.
All right, Ken Patera, we're talking about over 1,000 pounds in that tag team match alone. And Kenny, I don't know where you found the Flash. I know he's been a friend of yours for a long time. He must have been happy to come in here and help you out.
Like he said, he couldn't hardly wait to get in the ring as my partner when I gave him the news. But I'll tell you, here's a man that's 6'3", 385 pounds. He bench presses 798 pounds. Can you imagine what's going to happen in his hands when he gets a hold of you, Adnan, and Chris Markoff? It's going to be a sorry day in your lives. That's what I promise you.
All right, wrestling fans, you make sure you get your tickets for that big date, because it will be the Olympic strongman Ken Patera tagging up with Scott Flash Norton, taking on Chris Markoff and Sheik Adnan El Casey. We will want to see you there, because it's going to be a night of wrestling action you don't dare want to miss. Interfering in the matches of Ken Patera. Then what really bit the biscuit was when Markoff pretended to have a bad knee and they sneak attack Patera. Then Patera going out and getting himself a partner, and what a partner he went out and got. He got himself Scott Flash Norton. That one should be a big one.
Well, I tell you, talking about explosives, you talk about the St. Valentine's Day, it's going to come early, because I'm going to tell you, when you get these 4 guys and what has happened the last 3 or 4 weeks, everything has been set. The 4 of them are going to be in the ring. And I'm going to tell you, all I can tell you is, Joy, if you ever saw a barn burner and an explosion, like when you set a piece of dynamite off, you're going to see it one in this match, because I'm looking forward to the greatest classic in professional wrestling and the greatest match I saw here on the tour.
You want to talk about power? There's going to be over 1,000 pounds in that main event alone. Patera had Norton and Markov and El Casey. Right now, the Golden Sheik working over the throat of the Baron. And I'm telling you, the Sheik's been doing this for many years, but he should know better than that because the Baron, at one time, a hated rule breaker. Now a big fan favorite. He can dish it out as well as take it.
You think in your estimation, Joey, you think everybody's scared of the Baron. Well, let me tell you something. There's a lot of people that put the Baron in his place. And on that big show in February, you'll find out what I'm going to do when I order Kerry the Pitbull Brown to go out and destroy him. And I don't want to see the Baron back in Canada again. Secondly, don't go away. Listen to me very closely. You got a dog collar around me. You got a 15-foot chain. Now, can you imagine how dangerous Bulldog Bob Brown really is? Can you imagine how much more dangerous when you hand me a chain?
I know how dangerous you are. I've seen you over the years pull out chairs out of the stands, anything you could get your hands on. But this time, it's already in your hands because it's attached around your neck. A dog collar match. You've been running too long from the French Mad Dog. That's what he's saying, okay? Not what I'm saying, so don't look at me like that. But I'll tell you one thing. That's like a double main event. And you know what? You can get there for the price of admission for one. It's going to be a heck of a card.
Just let's talk about what the great Golden Sheik is doing to the Baron von Raschke. He's really got Baron in trouble.
Well, you know, the Golden Sheik's been around for a lot of years, about 15 in the Ring Wars. He knows what he's doing in there. That's what probably made him a very successful manager. But Baron von Raschke is only going to take this for so long. And you can see the look on his face when those veins in his neck start to pop. And right now, the Golden Sheik whipping him across the turnbuckle, and the Baron goes in there head on. And I tell you, the Baron's head is bobbing, Bob. He's having problems right now.
The Sheik is having a problem getting up, you know. Hey, that Baron's a big guy. You got to get right up, and you got to beat him up. That's the only way to keep the Baron down. Beat him up.
If we can, I want to get promoter Tony Condello in here for just a minute. Tony, we were talking a little bit about it last week. You know, you've been an independent television promoter, a wrestling promoter since 1972, if you will. And Bulldog's been here a few times from Kansas City, Missouri. And I tell you, the talk of the whole country now is this Canadian National Wrestling Alliance based out of Calgary, Alberta. You have affiliated yourself with them, which means a good thing is getting even better.
You know, Joe, and what I'm going to say is where the WFWA is very pleased to be in association with the CNWA because we're going to show the best of wrestling, of professional wrestling, all the way across Canada.
Now, Tony, let me ask you another question here. You know, usually in different wrestling territories, you have different regional champions, all right? But this is a little bit different because you're going to have your regional champions, and once they have been decided or determined, if you will, they will battle each other to have one-man crowned as the CNWA heavyweight champion. Now, that's something a little bit different.
That is true, and our champion could be anybody across the world.
All right, the words of promoter Tony Condello. Congratulations on behalf of Bulldog Brown and myself for making this organization that much better. And Bulldog, I know you're a big part of it.
I don't want to talk about Tony Condello because he forced me into this match. And what happens to the French Mad Dog? It's going to be on Tony's own conscience. When I heard him put him out of professional wrestling where his wife don't have any food or anything in the fridge, Condello can look after her.
All right, Bulldog Bob Brown throwing insults back at promoter Tony Condello. And what a suplex there. Now the Baron is getting the crowd's approval. He's trying to set him up for that big claw hold. And Tony, you talk about names that you signed for that big card. This is one of them, the big German, Baron von Raschke, to battle the Bulldog son, the Pitbull Kerry Brown.
You know, I really think for what's been going on lately, the Baron von Raschke, I think Mr. Pitbull Kerry Brown needs a lesson.
All right, and how about that big main event, Tony? I know it caught you by storm as well as me, because when Ken Patera wanted that tag team match after all those interferences, the only stipulation you gave him was, Ken, pick a partner of your choice, but I have to know in 1 week's time to sanction it through the Boxing and Wrestling Commission, and he did that. What a big surprise. 350 pounds of mayhem. You're talking about the arm wrestling super heavyweight champion of the world 3 times over as well. He holds the record in 1988 for bench presses.
You know, Ken Patura picked the right partner as far as I'm concerned. You know, to be 3 times world champion arm wrestling, I'll tell you, I hate to be in the other end.
Well, you're not kidding. Chris Markoff and Sheik Adnan El Casey have to be worried, and Bulldog, you take a look.
All I'm watching right now is Baron Von Reschke. He can't seem to put away the Golden Sheik.
Well, he's wearing him down with that chin lock, one of the best maneuvers to wear down an opponent. It cuts the circulation off, the oxygen to the brain. And from what I hear, the Golden Sheik's got a lot of oxygen up there to begin with, so it's going to take a long struggle to cut it all off.
Always got a smart aleck remark, don't you, Joey?
You take a look at this Baron Von Reschke, though, Bulldog. I mean, he's been wrestling for about 23 years now, and you've seen him throughout all of North America, Japan, Singapore, wherever you've been. And I tell you, he's been around for a long time. He didn't stay on top, you know, for losing too many matches. And you're looking at something here, Bulldog.
Well, look, when you're looking at Baron Von Reschke, listen, he played college football, great athlete. I tell you, he's wrestled all over the world. He's wrestled every major star. But I'm going to tell you, he's got his hands full today. And also, in the month of February, he'll have his hands full when he wrestles my son, Kerry the Pitbull Brown. I'm going to tell you, he could be in a lot of trouble. And February could be the end of his wrestling career.
Well, we shall wait and see, fans. As well, coming up on today's wrestling agenda, we have the Olympic strongman, Ken Patera, doing battle with your son. As well, Flash Norton, Scott Flash Norton taking on Sheik Adnan El Casey. It should be a real affair in today's main event. And now the Golden Sheik with a couple of rights that don't even affect the Baron. And the Baron is standing there like he is getting ready to explode, and the fans are 110% behind him. And the Golden Sheik taking back a few right hands now from the Baron. This has been a great match. The Baron landing that big knee. And a big foot stomp to the sternum area. And the Baron is setting him up for something here, picking him up by that blonde hair. A big turnbuckle coming, a couple of them. Make it 3, make it 4. You can hear the crowd. And the Golden Sheik is bringing in a new week. As far as he's concerned, he doesn't know where he is right now. But I'll tell you, when he comes around, he's going to find out that he felt the wrath of Baron Von Reschke. And the Baron picking him up. He could have had the pin.
That's how silly he is. He had a chance to win. I'd be surprised now if the Golden Sheik comes back and beats him. It'll be his own fault for his downfall.
Well, a big whip coming here. Baron Von Reschke. Big back body drop. Wow. The Sheik and the Baron signifying that claw hold. And no one has ever gotten out of it. And I don't even think the Golden Sheik will.
Is this what Kerry Brown's got to look forward to?
He's got to look forward to. I don't know if you want to call it looking forward to him. And the referee has signified that this one's over. Your winner, Baron Von Reschke. Let's go up to the Bulldog in the ring, because I know you've got a few questions for him.
Well, you know, when you talk about the Baron Von Reschke, he's had it easy in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But believe me, the month of February is going to be a big, big challenge for Baron Von Reschke, because he's got my son to carry the Pitbull Brown. And tell me, you've had it easy for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but your easiness is coming to an end, Baron, because you got to carry the Pitbull Brown, and I've ordered him right in there to go right after you.
You have a pit bull going after me? Well, where's the big bulldog? Your little pit bull? Is he supposed to come out and hamstring the Baron? Is he supposed to injure the Baron? It's part of your strategy, isn't it? It's part of your tactic. Well, that would be a big mistook for Kerry Brown and for Bob Brown. That would would be a big mistake, wouldn't it? Because you know what that would do to me? That would turn me into a raging maniac. I come out here cool, calm, collected, but I tell you something, Herr Bob Brown, and I tell you something, Herr Terry Brown, you may have cut your teeth on lesser men, but when you step in the ring with Baron von Reschke, you step in with experience, you step in with skill, you step in with knowledge, and I tell you something, you're going to get the wrestling lesson from your life, and I don't care what your big bulldog coach is telling you. Terry Brown, get ready for the fight of your life. It's true. It's true. You're a very, very promising wrestler, but you've been misguided by some people, some very, very strange people, and Pitbull Terry Brown, you're stepping in with the master of the claw. Keep it in the back of your mind. I'm talking to you, Terry Brown.
They talk about a man, he talks about going crazy. Let me remind you something, wrestling fans. He don't have to go too far, because I'll tell you, the month of February is going to be a big night in the life of Kerry the Pitbull Brown. It's the night he's going to destroy Baron von Reschke.
That's a very interesting prediction there, Bob Brown. You must know something I don't know, because I'm in a very, very...
We'll be right back after this important message.
Sure, cut me off, Bob Brown.
Certain he is probably one of the best hidden talents in all of Vancouver, British Columbia. I tell you, he is making his presence felt, and so did that size 14 boot of hot stuff Eddie Watts, who has that big elbow.
And you know what? He's got all the girls chasing him. Not as many that are chasing me, Joe, but he's got a few.
Well, they're chasing you probably because you owe them money, Bob, or something stupid like that. Women chasing you. Oh, lands him, drives him right into that turnbuckle, right into the sternum area.
Yeah, we're seeing moves out of two young individuals that I haven't saw for a long, long time. But I tell you, it's nothing surprising, because I'll tell you what, these two are two great athletes.
Well, Eddie Watts is asking for approval from the crowd, and I don't think he's going to get it here. But he's picking him up by the hair. These two men have been going at it tooth and nail. Eddie Watts landing a shot to the head. Oh, wow! Buddy Wink can sure land those right hands. Big boots now by Hot Stuff. Eddie Watts, two true light heavyweights and Bulldogs. I tell you, this has been one heck of a fight.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm speechless. These guys have been going at it, you know, for 5 or 6, 7 minutes, and it's been a non-stop. Hey, listen, you don't get any timeouts in wrestling, so you got to be at your very best.
Look at what's happening right now. That big elbow. Almost a guillotine mover there. Eddie Watts didn't even see it coming. Like a freight train, Buddy Wayne lands on Eddie Watts, and he lands another big right hand. I'll tell you one thing, fans out there, when you see the stars of the WFWA come to your city or town, and he misses. He tried that cross body block one too many times.
Well, I'll tell you what, he should have realized very, very closely that Eddie Watts wasn't going to fall for his tricks 2 times in a row. Eddie Watts is not down, and this is Buddy Wayne's. These are the things that he must learn. You know, Bulldog would never make those mistakes.
Big suplex there, and a beautiful maneuver by Hot Stuff Eddie Watts. But fans, I tell you, when the stars of the WFWA get out to your city or town and wrestling's on that marquee, that's what you're talking about. Top-notch wrestling action. Make sure you get your tickets early. And Eddie Watts is using those ropes to his advantage.
Oh, Eddie Watts, hey, listen, I'm just flabbergasted, because I'll tell you, Eddie Watts is just doing what I expected to do to him. He's taking a match right to him, and he wants to beat this young smart aleck punk, and he's doing a good job at it.
I'll have to agree with you there. He's on top of things right now. He's going for that sunset flip, and he might have him. Here, Bob, he's going for that pin, but he doesn't have those legs wrapped on the arms, and exactly what I expected to happen. Wow! Eddie Watts out of nowhere. That man recovers so quickly in there.
I'm just so happy for Eddie Watts. Everything that Buddy Wayne is doing, Eddie Watts is getting out of it and making a fool out of him and embarrassing right now.
This might be over, but Buddy Wayne at the last second kicking out, regaining some momentum hopefully in this one. He's got the leg wrapped up, and again a 2 count, maybe 2.5 tops. But right now Eddie Watts is in control of this one. The young man from Ann Arbor, Michigan, making his feelings be known right now for Buddy Wayne. He's landing that boot.
I tell you, he's so cocky. I tell you, everything Eddie wants to do, he's really an obnoxious young person. But I tell you, he backs it up in the ring, and he's doing a great job on Buddy Wayne.
He sends him right out of the second rope. What upper body strength on this light heavyweight from Vancouver, BC, to break the count. Oh, Eddie Watts is trying to rip the nose. Right now, Bob, a favorite maneuver of yours for so many years.
Well, I don't know what that's all about. I'm strictly a wrestling man. I'll tell you, if Buddy Wayne doesn't come out of this quickly, hey, Eddie Watts is going to bury him.
He's going to catapult him onto that bottom ring strap. Oh, wow. Come on, the referee's got the count on Eddie Watts. And he breaks just in the nick of time. He's using that 5 count to his advantage.
Oh, sure, he knows what kind of a count he's got, and he's taking advantage of it, and he's making the referee go the full count with him.
Eddie Watts hammering Buddy Wayne on the outside of the ring. Wayne looking worse for wear right now. Setting him up for a whip. Eddie Watts is in that big clothesline that sends Buddy Wayne across the ring. A vicious maneuver.
I tell you what, he's taking it right to him, and I think this match is over.
And his foot is up on that second ring strand, which, oh, Eddie Watts going right to work. I tell you, the man moves very fast in that ring. He recovers so quickly, that hot stuff, Eddie Watts. Big scissor kick, Bob. A beautiful maneuver that surprised everyone here in the house.
Oh, my goodness, I told you, you guys they both hit each other at the same time.
Wow. Talk about 2 knockout punches. I'd be surprised if either one of them get up after this one. This one has been a dandy.
I told you so.
Eddie Watts, I don't know what he's trying to do here. They almost knocked him out on that punch, and he's going up top. I don't know if he's got any equilibrium between his ears to get enough to get up there. He's thinking twice about it right now.
This is all over now. Completely
Eddie
all
Watts,
over.
a high-flying maneuver, and Buddy Wayne moves out of the way just in time. Eddie blocks it. Buddy Wayne with a couple of lefts and a big right.
Well, hey, he's using his fist, and the referee's doing nothing about it.
I tell you, he must have some boxing back. Big fire, dropkick. That young man must have got a good 8-9 feet in the air to land that one right on the jaw.
Well, he's taking it right to Eddie Watts now. He's got to continue on. Don't stop for one moment, and then listen. This kid, you know what I mean? Mistakes will.
Definitely, Bob Brown. I know you've known Eddie Watts for a lot of years, and you'd never count him short. But he recovers so quickly, Bob. A thing that you see in a lot of champions over the years. But he's only a young man. Now, these 2 guys are driving shots back and forth and chops. And a miss under there. And he's got him hooked. He might have. Big pull over. Oh, what justice for a change in professional wrestling.
just a 15-minute match. Hey, you got to give credit where it's due. I thought the match was great. I thought you're fantastic. You know, let me remind you one thing. I want to tell the people out there that you're not new to me. I've had a lot of trouble throughout my wrestling career with you. But let me tell you something. I think you broke every rule and regulation in professional wrestling in this match. I thought that you should have been disqualified on 2 different occasions.
Well, Bob Brown, you know, about 1 year ago to this date, you put me out of action for 6 months with a pile driver. And as long as I was sitting home, I never forgot you for 1 second, brother. On that night, I may have looked like a loser. You listen here. You listen here. I may have looked like a loser on that night, brother. But just like a good watch, Buddy Wayne could take a licking and keep on ticking. And I prove that to you, and I prove it to everybody here by whooping I just gave Eddie Watts.
Well, just a minute. Let me remind you one thing. This is my interview area, and I want you to control yourself, because if you don't, I just might slap your ear in front of all these TV people.
Well, Bob Brown, I may have just got done putting in one of the toughest matches of my life, but you're welcome to take that suit off right here, and I'll take you on right now.
I don't want to talk to him anymore. I think he's still a smart aleck young punk, and we'll be right back after this. Casey is no easy chore, Joey.
Well, I'll have to agree with you there. I mean, he's the main eventer wherever he goes, this Sheik Adnan Casey. His partner on that big tour for the St. Valentine's Day Massacre Tour. It happens all through February. Bob, you gave it a name that... And Sheik Adnan Casey is asking if that's our idea of a match, Bulldog, but he knows better. We had nothing to do with it. We got to tell it the way it is.
Well, I could say I had nothing to do with it, but I don't know about you, Joey. You and that Tony Cadello, you know, I tell you, I just can't believe what I see in this ring. Adnan Casey against... Who's that strong man again?
Scott Flash Norton. You know his name. You're just trying to plead ignorance here again. I'll tell you, I can't believe what we're seeing in that ring. I mean, he's one of the biggest men in professional wrestling. And El Casey going to work right off the bat here on Scott Flash Norton.
Well, Norton's had it easy for the last couple of weeks. He's had pushovers. Now he's getting into stiff competition. Adnan Casey is a great athlete. Him and Markov are going to make a great team. I'm surprised Markov is not out here. But the reason why Markov is not out here, he knows he's going to take care of Norton, and Norton might not even be around for the month of February.
Well, I want to say a special hello to all the people up there in Wasaga-Mac as well, the Northwest Territories, Oxford House, Cross Lake, God's Lake, Narrows. They've joined the WFWA Wrestling Network, Bob, and they see us every week now, and some of those top stars will be featured on some of those great live cards.
They certainly are my great friends up there. Hey, I'm going to go up there and smoke the peace pipe with my great Indian chiefs, and listen, we're going to have a big party. Of course, there'll be no alcohol. I don't believe in it. We're going to have a good cup of old-fashioned green tea.
All right, Bulldog Bob Brown here. Bob, let's talk about some of the other stars that are going to be on that tour. You're talking about a couple of light heavyweights such as Buddy Wayne, even Mike Lazansky, 2 fan favorites. And how about that Ole Olsen, a newcomer to these parts, a good-looking young man from Seattle, Washington.
Well, if you girls out there in television land want to look at some good-looking kids, get that Buddy Wayne, 20 years old, Lazansky, 19 years old. Hey, they can party all night long.
Well, look at the face of Scott Flash Norton. He's not even mesmerized in that big hard head. Nailing Sheik Adnan Casey. Excedrin headache number 99 for the Sheik. Big power shot coming up. Hey, what's the goal that she gets? A big elbow. Scott Norton has knocked the Golden Sheik right out. And that big Bull Nelson right now, a trademark of his partner, Ken Patera. And look at El Casey. What's going on here now, Bob? His partner, Chris Markov, has interfered in the match. Look at Norton, though. He's not even feeling a thing. Both men trying to attack him now. Come on, Bulldog. What's going on here? Again, another double team effort.
Well, the referee is not calling the match. They're going to take it into their own hands. He's asked for the bell.
All right, the referee has asked for the bell. Casey, Casey and Markov, hold on, but Ken Patera's coming. And these 2 men are trying to run out at the last second. And Ken Patera is jumping in there. This one is all broken loose. And you wonder why.
This match, I think Norton's been disqualified.
Get out of here, Bobby won the match.
Won it. Why would he
Scott Norton before that big tour, but it didn't happen.
I'll tell you one thing. Let's go off with Joe, and let's talk to that great team.
What does one have to do?
Seek. Now you did it. Now you got me mad. You come in, you blindside me, you bring that goof mark up in here, and you think you can do something. You got something over on me, do you? Well, this time when me and Kevin Carey step in the ring with you, it's over. I'm coming, baby. Nothing can stop me. Every time you turn around, you open the closet, I might be there. I'm on you guys. You're mine.
I'll tell you, Scotty, what the problem is, you can't turn your back for 10 seconds on these guys. Not even for a second. Luckily, I was backstage here. But I'm going to tell you something, Mark, You got away with it once with me. You tried it a second time, it didn't work. Well, you tried it on this man, and it didn't work. So what's in store for you two, Goops? We're going to find out. It's not
Remember, we're still here.
That's right. It's not going to be real nice. It's not going to be real pretty for you guys.
All right, the words of Ken Patera and his tag team partner, Scott Flash Norton. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre Tour will continue throughout Western Canada. They are tagged up to take on Chris Markoff and Shigadnon El Casey. This war must come to an end. Get your tickets now. Ladies and gentlemen, the French Mad Dog here with me. Promoter Tony Condello has done it again. This time, Dog, he's taken things into his own hands and signed a dog collar match, one of the most dangerous matches in all of professional wrestling. Yourself, vendetta time against Bulldog Bob Brown.
Yes, it is, Joe. It's one of the most dangerous matches there is. Because your neck is tied. Bulldog's neck will be tied to my neck. If he tries to run away, I'm going to give a yank. And his neck will go snap, pop, and crackle. Joe, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to show you what a dog collar match is. One collar on my neck, one collar around Bulldog Brown neck. And there's no place to go. There's a big chain that holds him back. I love these. This is my type of fighting. This is my type of matches. Bulldog Brown. It is. It is. One snap of the chain and Bulldog's neck will go snap, pop, and crackle.
All right, that match signed as well. One of the most dangerous matches in all of professional wrestling. 15 feet of steel chain attached to one collar around the dog's neck, the other leash around Bulldog's neck. It's another match you're not going to want to miss on this February spectacular. Get your tickets now, fans. You don't dare want to miss all the great action. That big tour is this far away, wrestling fans, and Bulldog, let's start from top to bottom. Some of the biggest names in all of professional wrestling, and you talk about four of them. Chris Markoff, Shigadnon El Casey on one side of the ring. Their opponents, Ken Patera and Scott Flash Norton.
Well, all four of them have got a lot of things to think about. You know, it's just a short few days away when all four is going to climb into the ring, and they have to prove to the country what they've been talking about for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Who's going to win? Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be Ken Patera and Norton's downfall. Because I'll tell you, Shigadnon Casey and Chris Markoff are two fine, outstanding athletes, and they're well groomed for this match. And by the time the match takes place, by the time the bell rings, it should be an exciting evening. But that's not the only thing in the card. There's a lot of things going to happen.
You're right.
In the month of February.
You're talking about that dog collar match, one of the most dangerous matches in professional wrestling. It should be a bloodbath between you and the French Mad Dog. You tried to get out of it, and there's no way you can run and hide now because you're on one end of a 15-foot chain, and he's on the other end.
Well, before you rudely interrupted me, I was going to say the same thing. It's going to be brutal. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of blood spilled, but I guarantee you it won't be this boy's blood, because I'm going to tell you, I watched his career start, and it's going to end in the month of February. I don't think the Mad Dog, Puppy Dog, whatever you want to call him, will be around after the month of February. I'll put him into an early retirement.
All right, as well, also signed by promoter Tony Condello, it will be Baron Von Raschke against your son, the Pitbull, Kerry Brown.
Well, of course, we saw a great action hour today. Listen, you saw Kerry against Patera, and I thought Kerry just looked good. Patera left the ring, got counted out.
It was your son that left the ring. Wrestling fans, we're all out of time for another week. Hopefully we will see you in your city or town. On behalf of Bulldog Bob Brown, I'm Joyello. Have yourselves a great week. Hi everybody, Joyello back here with the legend in the world of professional wrestling, Bulldog Bob Brown. And Bob, we're in for some exciting action. Already signed for today's card, Baron Von Raschke, the Clawmaster.
What can I tell you about Baron Von Raschke? He's been around for years. He knows what he's doing in that ring, and he should liven up this place, even though it's 35 below zero out in this cold Winnipeg.
All right, 265 pounds, the big Russian, Chris Markov, will be here as well.
Well, he's certainly made a name for himself in Western Canada the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I expect big things from Chris Markov. And tonight should be no different. Explosive will come from him.
All right, as well in the main event, the Olympic strongman, Ken Patera. Let's go up to the ring. All right, and right now they're locking up, and the Baron all over the Natural. I tell you, the Baron's been around, Bulldog. He's been in the wrestling game for 23 years now, and still looking in top shape.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind. You know, he's a great athlete. You know, he went to University of Nebraska. He won everything there in amateur sports, went on to professional wrestling, and every time you open up your book or watch television, you're bound to hear the name Baron Von Raschke.
All right, locking up. Once again, he's got a good-looking side headlock there on the Natural, and he's got that look, that big smile on his face. You know he's administering pain, and the Natural's going for a handful of hair, and he's not going to find it. Referee Ricky Jones, the third man in the ring. And Bulldog, like we were mentioning earlier, there's some great action on the way. A newcomer to the WFWA, but obviously not a newcomer to the world of professional wrestling, the Baron.
Well, I tell you, you know, watching the Baron is just, hey, you're seeing the best in professional wrestling. And later on, you know, in the card, listen, you're going to see Ken Patera. You're seeing it all right here on this great network of professional wrestling. And all I can tell you is there's more to come, Joey.
All right. As you can see right now, the Natural trying to get some blood flowing through that left arm of his. And the Baron showing some superior strength so far in this one, manhandling. Oh, and the Natural going for a rake in the eyes.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, that'll stop any professional wrestling. You know, you get a thumb in the eye, and you're gonna, hey, it's hurt, you're hurting. And right now, I'll tell you what, the Natural better stay right on top of him, because if the Baron comes out of this, you know what's going to happen.
Well, I agree with you 110%. I don't even know if the Natural's going about it the right way, because if there's one man I wouldn't want to tick off in that squared circle, it would be the big man from Germany, Baron Von Raschke.
Well, listen, he's not up here for the good of his health. Hey, he's up here because he knows there's big money to be made up here in Canada, and he wants to be part of it. But to be part of one thing, Joe, is one thing. But you must go out and win the big matches.
If anybody should know that point, it should be the man sitting with me here at ringside, Bulldog Bob Brown, witnessing all the great action here in front of a sellout crowd. The WFWA trying to bring you some of the top talent in wrestling today. And Bulldog, two of them are in that ring right now, Baron Von Raschke and the Natural.
Well, listen, the Naturals, you know, I tell you, the Naturals just got him going now, and I'm surprised to see the Baron Von Raschke in a position to where he is, Joe. He's usually on top of you at all times.
Definitely, but the Natural, we have to give credit where credit's due. His plan right now seems to be working on the Baron, and the Baron's trying to regain his marbles. I don't know if he's got a chokehold on there or working the nerve grips, Bob.
What about his manager at ringside? You know, his manager's there. He's got a lot to say, and a lot of the outcome of this match has got a lot to say with the guy standing at ringside. He's a big help in there, Joe. A lot of people don't understand what a manager is doing there. But you know, hey, the manager told me before he ever came out of the dressing room, you got a big man, go out and beat him, and we'll take it from there.
The Golden Sheik, I tell you, if you're going to talk about him, get him to stand on your side of the ring. I can't stand the man. And here he goes again. Just watch your man in action there, Golden Sheik. Bob, you started something again with the leader of the Mercenaries of Mayhem, the Golden Sheik, but you're absolutely right. A manager, especially someone like the Golden Sheik, can play a big part in a wrestling match.
Oh, there's no doubt it, Joe. Listen, you right now, you know, he's cheering on his man, and of course his man will have to come out of this. But I'll tell you one thing, Baron Von Raschke's doing right now what he's capable of doing the best, staying right on top of him, Joe.
That's right, the Baron regaining his senses, and he's on top of his man. Believe it or not, I thought it would have taken the Baron less time to regain his composure. We have to give credit to the natural. He's doing a pretty fine job in there, but I don't think he's going to be able to beat the Baron.
Well, I'll tell you, this is just a great match, Joe. You sound a lot like Ed Whalen right now. You know, I got to put my money on this guy, but I'll tell you, don't count out the natural. Anybody's capable of getting beaten. I'll tell you, the way he had the Rashke a while ago, I thought he could have won, but I didn't go out and say it like you did, Joe.
Well, the natural getting to the ropes, and that's the only way he was going to break the pressure hold put on by Baron von Raschke there with the headlock. And now the Baron picking him up by the hair.
Look at the Sheik now. He's really going in there now. He's trying to put his man, get a little enthused with his man. And all right.
All right, the Baron going for the pin. Oh, the natural just in the nick of time there. I'm surprised he did it. 5 minutes gone in this one so far. And the Baron trying to rip the nose off the natural.
Well, you
and
know,
you can see what he's saying. He's telling the referee that he's just returning some of the natural's own medicine.
Well, I think the referee should move into this match before he lets it out of control. I think he should have moved in and disqualified Baron von Raschke. After all, he did try to take his eye out, Joe. Come on now, give me a break.
Well, the Sheik is going nuts on referee Ricky Jones, but how can you blame the referee? He's calling a heck of a match right now. Two tough combatants in there in the Golden Sheik. He should know better than complaining to the referee about somebody breaking the rules. He's a master at it.
Well, there's nobody better than him to break the rules. He's been breaking them for 20 years that I know of. As a matter of fact, I've wrestled him on many, many occasions. And you talk about Baron von Raschke, Joe. I'm going to tell you, one of the hardest men in professional wrestling to get down and get the 3 count on. He's been pinned very, very few times.
Well, he stands in at 6'4" tall, 262 pounds. Like you mentioned earlier, from the University of Nebraska, former football great. It's going to take a lot, but the natural might be getting a little cocky here, Bob.
Oh, my.
Only a 2 count. It's going to take a lot more than that to pin the Baron. You know that as well as I do.
Well, the Baron's gonna, I'm sure the Baron will come out of this. He's not gonna give up on this hold. That I can guarantee you.
Right now, the Baron getting back to his feet, sizing him up with a big elbow. And a big shot there to the side of the head. If that doesn't give you cauliflower ears, I don't know what will. And I think he just might have ticked off the Baron a little bit. The Baron, nice hip toss there. The Baron giving the sign for the claw.
People are going crazy here, Joe. They know what to expect when they put the claw on.
Yet to see a man get out of this hold. The Sheik is incensed here at ringside, and it could be lights out for the natural. The Baron, once he grips on to the temple area, oh, that's it. It's all over.
Joe, that match went 7 minutes and 34 seconds, about 6 minutes more than I thought it. I'll tell you, so Baron von Raschke had a little trouble, but let me tell you one thing. He came on like a ball of fire, and it was a very exciting match.
Well, you talk about trouble. The Golden Sheik might be in some trouble of his own. The Baron removing the claw hold from the natural. Your winner once again, Baron von Raschke, your winner. And while the natural having problems getting up, and hopefully we'll be able to get Bulldog Bob Brown down at ringside to talk to Baron von Raschke. Let me tell you, fans, when the Baron applies that claw hold, it at least takes him 5 to 10 seconds to remove it after all that blood is pumping through his wrist. Right now, let's go to Bulldog Bob Brown at ringside with the Baron.
Baron von Raschke, 7 minutes and 34 seconds to beat your opponent. You know, that's a little long, knowing you for all the years that I've known you. What happened in there?
Well, that's right here, Bob. You know what happened? I got a little careless. I didn't take him as seriously as I should have. In professional wrestling, you're always putting it on the line. You can never let up. Well, I let up a little bit too much. I let him get to my throat. but I tell you what, the result was the same. He went down with a claw, and that's really all you need to know here, Bob.
Well, you know, Baron, I know you're not up here for the good of your health. I'm sure you're up here for a reason. Could you enlighten us on what you're after and what you're going to do in the weeks to come?
Well, I tell you the truth, this is one of the healthiest parts of the country I've been in. I love it up here. And what I'm up here for, I'm in training. There's a big battle royal coming up. $10,000 on the line. Over the top rope to the concrete floor. 15 men in the ring. Big men, powerful men, strong men. And whoever wins, the last man in the ring, gets to walk away with a $10,000 prize. That's what I'm up here for. That's what I'm getting in shape for. And besides that, I like all my friends and fans up here. You know that.
$10,000. That's what he's here for. Big battle royal. We'll be right back after this important message.
That's all you need to know.
Haymaker that sends Markov to the mat. This could be it, Bulldog. Oh, only a one count.
You're not going to beat Chris Markov just with a cover. You got to go out and you got to punish the guy.
A little earlier on, we were talking about how some of the managers in professional wrestling do a little bit more than managing. And this Mark Allen, the Golden Idol here at ringside, yet to let his presence be known here. Thank God for that.
Well, you know, promoter Tony Candello has laid strict rules and regulations to the referee. If they get involved, get them out of there real quick. I think a manager is good, but I don't think he should get involved. And if he does, he should have to pay the price. Right now, he's minding his own business. He's a very sharp manager, and this is the first time I had a good look at him. But I'm certainly that managing Chris Markov has got to be a feather in his hat, Joe.
Well, I tell you that. You were talking about paying the price, and I'm sure he did to sign a man like Chris Markov to a multi-year contract. Because when you're talking about Chris Markov, you mentioned it a little earlier on, he is one of the supreme athletes ever to come out of the USSR.
You can say that again. Of course, a lot of great athletes come out of Russia. Look at the Russian hockey team. Every time they come over here and play the National Hockey League, what happens? The Russians usually come out on top. You go to amateur boxing. That's all I can tell you is that Russians are great athletes.
All right, everybody, you can see right now Chris Markov on top of Bill Cody going for the pin, but Markov's got a hold of that top rope. And referee Dave Goebel just a little bit smarter than that.
You see, Joe, what I just finished telling you, Chris Markov has had a little trouble with Buffalo Bill Cody, and he's trying to put Buffalo Cody, even if he has to cheat. And I don't mind that once in a while.
Yes, we know that very well. Bulldog, you've been in the Ring Wars for many years now, too, and your ring attitude really hasn't changed over the years, has it, Bob?
Well, I don't want my attitude to change. I call him as I see him. And listen, I was a great baseball umpire. You know that, Joe?
I had no idea, Bob.
Oh, yes, they loved me. If they wanted to go to a party early, they signed me.
All right, Chris Markov on top of Buffalo Bill Cody right now. That size 16 boot. As you can see, the Russian boots of Chris Markov. You know what? You got to take a look at a guy like Chris Markov. He's a bull in that ring. Not very many scientific moves. The nerve holds. Kick and punch and stomp. That's his style.
Well, hey, listen, that's the only way you got to win. Hey, listen, he's not going. Chris Markov knows he's not going to a tea party when he's got the great Buffalo Cody. He's going to go in there. He knows he's got a hard time. He's already win 8 minutes and 25 seconds. Hey, what can I tell you? This match has went longer than I thought it was going to go, Joe.
All right, you heard Bob Brown. We're almost at the 9-minute mark in this one, and it's been back and forth since the opening bell, and I don't know, you know, I have to agree with you there. Obviously, Markov outweighing his opponent, Buffalo Bill Cody, tonight, but it's been a pretty evenly matched.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris Markov knows he's been in a match, and all I can tell you is...
All right, Buffalo Bill Cody. Bob, sorry to cut you off. Big clothesline, flying dropkick there, and Cody is on fire. And I don't know if Markov knows where
he goes now. He's going to the top rope, and this is either a big...
Mark Allen is interfering in the match. Mark Allen dropped the top rope. I can't believe this. Oh.
9 minutes and 10 seconds, Joe. This match went a little bit longer than I thought it was, but I'll tell you, Chris Markov knew he had a wrestling match on hand, and he got all he could handle with Buffalo Bill Cody.
Wow, I can't believe what happened. The interference of the referee. Your winner, Chris Markoff. All right, everyone, you saw what happened. The interference of this man right here, the Golden Idol.
Shut up! What interference? You know!
Hey, Chris Markoff is back here in Canada. We've been traveling all over. Chris Markoff is the greatest Soviet wrestler. East Germany, Moscow, all over the world. Take a look at this man. Tell him what you're here for, Chris.
Well, let me tell you, I'm here for one reason, to bury one by one. But I wanted the best, the toughest, the roughest. Ken Ventura, I've been chasing you all over the world. But now, I get you right here in the corner, in your own country, in Canada, and I'm coming. You better give me the best, the toughest, the roughest, because I'm here to bury one by one. Ken Ventura, you can't run no place now. Give me the best, the toughest, the roughest. I get you, Ken Ventura, and I will show you the Russians what can I do. You're supposed to be the strongest man in the world, but you have to face me right here in Canada and nobody else. I don't want stepping stones. I want you, Ken Ventura.
All right, the words of Chris Markoff and his manager, a man that the fans call Captain Kangaroo, the Golden Idol.
Captain Kangaroo.
Mark Allen.
I'm tired of it.
He barely got by Bill Cody if it wasn't for this man's help. Now he's asking for Ken Patera. We'll have to see what transpires. We'll be back with more great action right after this. Charlie Norris doing battle with Beef Burton out of Chicago, weighing in at 245 pounds. The Beefer and Super Chief Charlie Norris in at 265 pounds, 6'7" from Red Lake, Minnesota.
Well, you know, I really don't know either one of the two guys, but they're both well built, and I'm expecting a real explosive match here. And all I can tell you is this Burton is well built. Look at him, stocky, and you know dynamite comes in small packages.
Oh, definitely. And take a look at this big man, 6'7". Just met him earlier on today, and Bulldog, I tell you, he's here for one reason and one reason only, a $10,000 payday that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. Look at him, the Super Chief, Charlie Norris from Red Lake, Minnesota, and Beef Burton, a young man from Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 245 pounds. I tell you, that's two strong men in that ring right now.
Well, yes, Charlie Norris, you know, fine Indian, and people out here in Western Canada, he'll be making his appearance all over Canada. Sure, go out and see him, and I'm certainly he'll sign your autographs, and this is what this organization is all about. They want all the fans to come out, and every one of them is going to sign their autographs. There'll be nobody refused.
All right, Super Chief Charlie Norris getting his arm worked over right now by Beef Burton. 6'7" tall, though. A big man. I haven't seen too many big men like that in the world of professional wrestling. Bulldog, to name a few. I mean, of course, there's men like Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, as well. You take a look. I remember a man you tagged up with a long time ago, weighed in over 400 pounds, Avalanche Buzz Tyler. But this man, 6'7", a young man out of Red Lake, Minnesota, and I think you're going to be seeing a lot more from this young star in weeks to come.
Well, this is what this organization is all about, bringing in the new talent. You know, people sometimes get sick and tired of seeing the same old faces. Promoter Tony Candello has really done a fine job, and all I can tell you is he's bringing in different faces. And listen, I'm proud of Tony, and I'm proud of the job that he's doing. Here's two new guys, and what can I tell you? Hey, listen. Look at this. Great excitement.
Oh, fast and furious action right now. The Super Chief on top of things, working over that left arm of Beef Burton. Action personified here for you, Bulldog.
Well, I'm excited about it. I'm just excited to be here with you, Joey. You know, of course, you know, a lot of times, you know, people see me in Western Canada, and they see me on TSN Sports.
And all I can tell you is Ed Whalen is not here, but Joey is here, and Joey does a great job. This is why I want to be proud of this great organization.
All right, the words and compliments. Thank you very much from Bulldog Bob Brown. Bob, you talk about some of the newcomers. Here are two of them for you, Beef Burton and Super Chief Charlie Norris. We were talking about some veteran stars that have appeared here. Of course, yourself, your son, the Pitbull, Kerry Brown, Baron Von Raschke, Ken Patera, Sheik Adnan El Casey. The list goes on and on. Some of the top talent in the world today are arriving right here to the WFWA.
And it's not stopping right here, Joe. I heard through the grapevine that Tony Condello wants to bring in the finest professional wrestlers there is. And he's going out to make sure there's all new faces and give the people something to talk about. They see television shows on television. They see the same faces over and over. Tony Condello is doing a fine job, and everybody in Winnipeg, Manitoba should take their hats off to him because he's doing a fine job. And so is Burton in that ring.
Well, he's raking the eyes over that top ring rope of the Super Chief Charlie Norris, and obviously it's done some damage because Burton is on top of things right now. But I don't think that's all we've heard from the Super Chief Charlie Norris. I've heard a lot of good things about him from the United States. Actually, in conversation with Ken Patera, he was telling me maybe a year ago that there was going to be a young Indian star coming up through the world of professional wrestling, and he's here for you now, this young man, Super Chief Charlie Norris.
Well, you know, you talk about Ken Patera. Listen, Ken Patera, hey, he's a fine, outstanding athlete. Hey, the man's just been great. Hey, he went to the Olympics. We should all be proud of him. Forget about what he's done in the past. Let's think about what he has done to his own country. He's brought great things to the country, United States of America, and everybody should be proud of him. Let bygones be bygones is what I say, Joe.
I'll tell you one thing for certain, you're seeing a lot of wrestling moves in this match, and I might not have expected that out of two up-and-comers here in the world of professional wrestling, but they're showing me a lot of savvy in that ring.
Well, I tell you, all I can tell you is you're seeing a contest. Hey, you're seeing two guys. You see, hey. And you know what? Now the Indian boy is bleeding from the mouth. And I tell you, Burton must have got him a good shot.
Well, take a look. You're absolutely right, Bulldog. He's been cut in the lip. Maybe he's had a tooth knocked loose or something. I don't know. But I tell you, Beef Burton is working over that midsection right now. And you can see that blood coming out of the mouth right now of Super Chief Charlie Norris.
And don't ever think for 1 minute that Burton doesn't know what's going on. He sees his mouth is in bad shape. You watch him go after this. He wants to win this match.
Well, the big body slam there by Beef Burton, a rough and tough individual out of Chicago, Illinois. And wow, what a shot there, Bob. You could hear that one. And the Super Chief looking a bit in trouble here right now. Charlie Norris. Oh, big chop there, Bob. And you're probably, I don't know if you taught this Beef Burton how to land those chops, but that's your trademark.
Well, you know, I like to hear them. And listen, Burton's a big guy, but don't count this Indian fella out. This Indian fella is going to come along. He's going to give you everything he's got.
The big tomahawk chop there, Bob. And I don't know if Burton did the right thing there, but he is going to work right now. Oh, big chop there again. And one more, and I'm telling you, he's landing a flurry of these chops, and right now he's checking out his lip, and there's blood pouring out of that mouth, Bob.
Well, listen, Burton's got him in had him in big trouble. The Indian boy came back, and now he's on the verge. He's got to stay right with him. He's got to go right out after him. He's got to move in now because he's got Burton in trouble, and there's the time to take advantage of it and go in for the pin.
All right, he's still landing those chops. Of course, some other great Indian stars that made those tomahawk chops famous. Wahoo McDaniels. And Burton moving out of the way just in the nick of time. And I don't know, that might cost the Super Chief.
I don't know if it's going to cost him or not, but he's moving right in right now.
A whip coming. And Burton taking a boot there to the shoulder. Super Chief Charlie Norris, the big elbow, and when you come down, weigh 265 pounds, Bob, you know, oh, here comes that big war dance. Oh, that chop, this one's got to be all over.
Oh, my goodness. He's
one
really
more time for good measure, big leg drop. Bob, I think that's all she wrote.
I tell you, 7 minutes and 55 seconds, and I didn't give the Indian a chance to win, but I'll tell you what, he came on strong, he got the big win, and let's go to ringside with Joey Ella.
Impressive win this week for a young man out of Red Lake, Minnesota. Welcome to Canada, the Super Chief, Charlie Norris.
Thank you. It's great. It's great to be here in Canada. It's my first time I've ever been to Canada. Drove 18 hours to get here. Had a tough match. Beef Burton. Very rough customer. I got a good win tonight. It's great to be here.
All right, and Super Chief, of course, everybody's talking about that big battle royal that's coming here. Just under 4,000 pounds will be in the squared circle. $10,000 to the winner, and you have to be one of the young favorites coming in.
I know, I tell you, there's a lot of tough people here in this Canadian wrestling. I'll be here in the Battle Royal. I'll take on anybody, anytime. My contract is open. $10,000 would be real good to have right now in my pocket.
All right, he weighs in at 265 pounds, stands in at 6 foot 7 inches tall, the Super Chief, Charlie Norris. We'll be right back.
All over the place, Tony. I've never seen this man get so disgusting in here. In all my ring time now, he just gave me a bump here at ringside. Tony, I don't know how you can control a man like the Bulldog. He's been in the ring wars for over 20 years, and he hasn't changed his style one bit.
Let me tell you one thing, Joe, and wrestling fans, if I was the referee of this match, I'd be gladly to fine Bob Brown any amount of money. I'm talking about thousands of dollars. This should be ruled out completely. He should stay in the square circle and do his wrestling, and never mind picking up any strange object to beat his opponent. But of course, we're talking about the Brown. That's where they wrestle. They cannot keep a clean match. Doesn't matter where they wrestle.
Oh, wow, what a big chop. And the fans, you could hear that one all the way across the bar here. And Bulldog Bob Brown, Tony, you have to give the guy credit. He's one of the most intense wrestlers I've ever seen. When that guy gets in there, I tell you, he gives it 110%, no matter who his opponent may be. And he is going to work on Lazansky right now, landing some haymakers to the tempo and landing that big boot. The Bulldog. Right now, they're making some quick tags, Tony. That's very impressive with the team. They're all the big Psycho coming off that rope, landing that big Psycho chop there to the back. And Tony, I was trying to say, they're sizing down Mike Lazansky well, keeping him on their half of the ring. At one time, you were known as a great tag team wrestler, and that's what you have to do, make some quick tags and keep them on your half of the ring.
You know, at this point in time, okay, the Brown and the Psycho, they seem to have the best of the match at this point in time, but I'm still pulling for Mike Lazansky and Brett Como because they are better shape and they are better wrestlers than Bulldog Bob Brown and the Psycho.
Well, the Psycho weighing in at 302 pounds from parts unknown is going to work on a nerve hold right now on Mike Lazansky. Lazansky has to make a... And Bulldog's yelling down at me here saying, that's how it's done, Joe. That's how it's done. As you can see, Brett Como getting a little antsy there in his corner. He's trying to get into that in this match to help his opponent. Now, Mike Lazansky's been in there for I don't know how long now, but it's been a long time. Trying to build up some steam. Lazansky getting a good shoulder block in there and a kick that knocks down the Psycho, and he makes the tag, Tony. We were just talking about that. And Brett Como, a freshman in there. Wow! The Psycho picking him up like a sack of potatoes.
That was very easy for the Psycho to sort of pick out Brett Como right on top of the air for the suplex there. But I still say that the speed will beat the heavyweights as the Brown and the Psycho as you see them.
I'll tell you one thing for certain. I don't know if Bulldog is missing his son right now, Kerry the Pitbull Brown, because he's got a formidable partner in the Psycho. The Golden Sheik must have somehow bailed out Bulldog in this tag team match, or basically bailed out Kerry Brown, because he's letting his man, the Psycho, tag up with Bulldog Bob Brown. And I've never seen Bob in a tag team match in the last year or so without his son.
Well, you know, we're talking to father and son, Joe, as mean wrestlers as they are. You ever thought maybe they got into a big argument between each others? father and son deal?
It could have happened. We're going to try and find out more for all you great wrestling fans at home on what's transpiring between the Brown family, Bulldog Bob and his son, the Pitbull, Kerry Brown. And right now, the Psycho going to work on the neck of Brett Como, the same hold he had applied to Mike Lazansky. I'll tell you one thing for sure, I don't know too much about this Psycho. I've seen him for a few months now. Still haven't been able to figure out who might be that masked man, Tony, but he's definitely been around for a while because he's an experienced wrestler. He's been in there for a long time in the ring wars, you can tell. Just by the way he applies those holds. Take a look, 302 pounds adding pressure to that neck. You could put a man to sleep, I would think, if you're cutting off the blood supply to the brain, the oxygen.
When you look at a man like the Psycho wearing the mask, as mean as he is, Joe, the only thing I can say is people that do wear a mask in the ring, there's got to be a reason for it. And you know what I think, really? I think they're ugly. That's why they don't want to show their faces.
All right. Tony, you're going to have to stand by your own words. I definitely couldn't to a man like the Psycho. But one thing is for certain, you've talked to masked wrestlers before. A lot of them say the only reason they wear the mask is they never have to show pain that way. You could be working their leg and working their leg. Their opponent would know they were in some sort of pain, but you really can't tell by looking at their eyes alone how much pain those men are really in.
Well, that could be true too. Maybe they don't want to show their pain or their ugliness. One of the two.
Well, one day for sure, someone will try and grab that mask of the Psycho and rip it off, and then we will find out who is the 302-pound man from parts unknown. And Bulldog Bob Brown looking worse for wear right now. Mike Lazansky on top of things, working over that left arm. And Bulldog's got to be wondering if he did the right thing by ramming Mike Lazansky outside the ring a little earlier on in this match.
Well, Mike Lazansky right now, he is in control, and he's going for the arm, as you can see him. And that's one of the strong points, trying to weaken the man's arm. And then, of course, go for the pin. Without your arm, what can you do sometime, eh?
Well, we're at almost the 12-minute mark in this match. A great tag team affair. The Psycho tagging up with Bulldog Bob Brown and doing battle with Mike Lazansky and Brett Como. The Golden Sheik here at ringside, yet to have any response really in the ring yet, and I'm actually surprised at that. The Golden Sheik usually making his presence felt here at ringside on one occasion or another. And I have to be impressed, and the fans at home as well, with this new tag team, the Psycho and Bulldog Bob Brown. I don't know where Kerry Brown may be. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to try and help the fans out and find out for ourselves and pass that information along the next time I get a chance to talk to Bulldog Bob Brown here at ringside. But he has no complaints at all, I'm sure, about tagging up with a big man like the Psycho.
Sometimes I'm thinking, why did Bulldog Bob Brown tagged up with the Psycho? And of course, the Psycho is wearing a mask, and I mentioned before, I think the only reason he's wearing a mask because he's ugly. And let me tell you something, Joe, or wrestling fans, I sure believe that Bulldog Bob Brown should wear the same thing. He sure is ugly.
All right, the words once again of promoter Tony Condello and Bulldog Bob Brown calling him ugly. You're supposing the Psycho may be ugly, and I'll have to throw in the Golden Sheik for good measure, Tony. Definitely more like the Adams family than the Browns family. But I'll tell you one thing for certain. He's been around for a long time, a true champion, this Bulldog Bob Brown, and right now he's going to work on a headlock. But Lazansky working that arm, and Bulldog's yelling that he's going to knock the head off of Mike Lazansky. But that doesn't look very possible right now. The fans are jumping all over the back of Bulldog Bob Brown. This has been an exciting tag team match.
As you've seen before, he's still working their arm. And right now, Brett Como has got Bob Brown the same hold that Mike Lazansky left. They're sure punishing their arm of Bulldog Bob Brown. And that's just how you weaken your opponent. Just keep working that arm. And like I mentioned before, there you have it.
This could be it, Tony. Only a 2 count, though. The Psycho interfering, grabbing Como by the hair. Wow, he might have saved Bulldog Bob Brown from a defeat there. And wow, what an upset that would have been. An upcomer like Brett Como pinning a veteran such as Bulldog Bob Brown right in the middle of the ring.
Well, it wouldn't have been an upset at all. I've seen the best of wrestlers get pinned by somebody or anybody at any time.
Right now, the Psycho landing that big knee. Big whip. Oh, he's throwing Brett Como right out of the ring. Exactly what his name says, the Psycho, and you can see why. I wouldn't say Bulldog Bob Brown is much farther. We've got the Golden Sheik here on this side of the ring. Wow, Como getting up there. Uh-oh. Whoa, the Psycho slam. Brett Como trying a great maneuver there. Oh, and Psycho picking him up. There's got to be something has to be done about that. I'm even losing my mind here after seeing something like that. He could have had Brett Como pinned, and he picks him up by the hair. Oh, look at this. Bulldog Bob Brown adding more insult to injury. Stopping his non-double whip coming. Both landing that knee, and Brett Como has to be gasping for air, and I can see why. The Psycho going to work with a choke. Referee Dave Goebel trying to get Mike Lazansky out of the ring, and Mike, that might be the best thing to do. Como looks in trouble.
I always say that in a tag team match, there always should be two referees. So they can actually watch.
Still has a little life left, and he made the tag. And Bulldog Bob Brown asking for mercy. And a prayer might do him good just about now. Lazansky clearing out the ring. Oh, and he goes to work on the eyes. Bulldog Bob Brown raking the eyes and a slam there. What a seasoned veteran, Tony, this Bulldog Bob Brown. Bulldog Bob Brown going up on top. Tony might be taking a little too long. Oh, yeah. Mike Lazansky. Tony, he's going to give Bulldog a one-way ticket. And it wasn't to paradise. Right to the middle of the ring. And Bob wish he could have cashed in on that fight a different way, I'm sure. And Como trying a flying drop kick. A pile driver. Tony, I've seen many necks get injured with that. It's all over. Your winner via the pile driver, the team of the Psycho and Bulldog Bob Brown. All right, everybody, you know this man very well, Bulldog Bob Brown. Impressive win here. The big question is, where is the Pitbull, Kerry Brown?
Well, you know, we got our commitments, you know. Winnipeg is not the only place that we wrestle in. Winnipeg is not the only place that we come here and do television. Fortunately, the Pitbull is 90-degree weather in Honolulu, Hawaii, is where I should be. But I want to be up here to stake my claim. You know, there's big talk about a big battle royal, and there's talk about big money. So when you mention big money, that's the game of professional wrestling. You come where the money is. And I'm sure Tony Condello has opening up his wallet for the first time in 35 years, and he's dishing out the big bucks for everybody to appear in this big battle royal. Well, like I say, I got an open contract, and anytime that Tony Condello wants to sit down with me, we'll talk business. But sitting down with me, listen, I'm just a little bit harder than any individual wrestler. I'm a hard man to get along with. This is why now in Western Canada, I got 5 network televisions that I do the play-by-play. You want to know why? Because I know the inside of professional wrestling. Not only do I do the commentating, I'm involved with big matches. Just the other night in Toronto, Canada, what do you call this guy on television? I think that he's a guy with a hat on, and he's called the Preacher. What's his name? Oh, no, the big guy. He beat Hulk Hogan not too long ago on nationwide television. But anyways, he's the Preacher. And last Sunday in Toronto, I just went in there, and my goodness gracious, I beat him like yesterday's garbage, 1, 2, 3, and it's a feather in my hat. Anybody that comes in the ring with me is going to get a contest. When I entered the ring here tonight, the people give me a standing ovation. Why? You know why? Because they know they're going to see a damn contest. They know Bulldog Bob Brown.
All right, Bulldog His bark is just as bad as his bite. Bulldog Bob Brown.
What's going on?
You're going to be seeing a lot more from him. You know, everybody's talking about that big battle royal, $10,000 going to the winner. 15 men, just under 4,000 pounds, will be stepping in to that squared circle. And Golden Sheik, this man right here, the masked man, weighing in at 302 pounds, the Psycho, has to be one of the favorites.
That's right. The Psycho's going to take the Battle Royal. In fact, I'll tell you something right now. Half the men in the Battle Royal work for the Sheik. So how can I not lose?
All right, of course, the Sheik is talking about men like The Natural, who's come back here to the WFWA, and himself forming an alliance with the Golden Idol, Mark Allen, and Sheik, keep your man away from me, Chris Markoff and Sheik Adnan El Casey. Knowing any one of these men, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them turns their back on the other for that $10,000.
What are you talking about? My men will never turn their back on the other. Where do you get the ideas from? Why don't you mind?
Why don't you talk about this guy that hasn't been beaten in years and he's still walking around here? Why don't you automatically call him the king of the battle royals? I saw him in so many battle royals in Western Canada. He is the king when it comes to battle royal. I think that's all you need to know, Joey.
All right, when it rains, it pours. Bulldog Bob Brown.
This man's never lost a battle royal in his life. He's gonna be...
All right, we're all out of time. We'll be back with more great action right after this.
We're all out of time.
He's getting a little cocky, and Bulldog Bob Brown, I'll tell you one thing for certain. I don't know if you've ever battled the Olympic great before, but you got to have some sort of respect for a big man like that. 275 pounds from Portland, Oregon.
There's no doubt in my mind. He's great. Listen, he's been to the Olympics. That's a lot of things that a lot of people can't talk about. He can talk about the Olympics. He was in it. He won. But the Olympics has got nothing to do with professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is a completely different sport. And on any given night, I can tell you that Ken Patera can get beat. And I'm sure Markoff is after him. Al Casey is after him. There's a lot of people after him. And he'll meet his maker.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for certain. That big battle royal has Ken Patera's name signed on it. 275 pounds, a big addition to that 15-man battle royal.
There's one thing you're forgetting, Joe. There's 9 other guys in the ring.
And $10,000 to boot. And Bulldog Bob Brown, a little conspicuous of your son's absence here this week on the WFWA. Never mind the story about him being in Honolulu, Hawaii, wherever you're saying he's from. As far as I'm concerned, you're running around in circles with that kind of an answer, and you got another big smile on your face.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's in a wonderful state of Hawaii where it's 90 degrees. I'm up here in Winnipeg, Canada, where it's 35 below. Who's crazier, me or him?
The old adage of father knows best does not necessarily come true in this matter.
Well, father knows best in this case because I taught him well.
All right, the words of Bulldog Bob Brown right now, witnessing some action with me here. The Titan doing battle with Ken Patera, the Olympic great from Portland, Oregon. Tell you, he's been one of my favorites for many years, and I tell you, the fans love him.
Of course they love him, you know. Hey, listen, but that doesn't stop him from breaking all the rules and regulations. And right now, he's getting what's coming to him.
Well, the Titan breaking the rules. I don't know if he's doing the right thing here either, but obviously he wasn't successful of trying to have a clean match. And what a stepping stone that would be for him if he could defeat a great like Ken Patera.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. He can beat him. Hey, on any given night, Ken Patera can get beat. And I tell you what, I just think that he's overrated.
Well, the fans are telling Ken Patera to step on the head of the Titan. And who is Ken Patera to argue with him? The fans love him. Wow, big clothesline there. Bob, he almost knocked the head off the man from no man's land. Well, Patera sent him up. You know what's coming here, Bob. His patented own full Nelson hold, and if he applies it and locks those hands, it's all over.
I think I can get out of that, too.
Well, I don't know, Bob. I'll have to see what happens when the time comes. But that's it. The referee has asked for the belt. Ken Patera. He locked those hands. That almighty full Nelson.
The winner, Ken Patera.
You heard the ring announcer there?
Listen.
The ladies are asking Ken Patera.
Well, he does better than you ever have with the women, Bob.
Listen, 5 minutes and 18 seconds. I think I could beat Ken Patera.
Hold on. 1 second here. Wow, what's going on here? The ladies wanted autographs from Ken Patera, a great competitor that he is. He was signing autographs for the fans. Al Casey and Markov jumping all over his back. You saw them coming.
I think it's great.
All right. The Baron von Raschke coming to the rescue. Holy cow, what action.
Let me tell you one thing. All they did was come in to try to pick up Ken Patera.
Wrestling fans, if you think I have a serious look on my face after just what happened, Ken Patera, I hope you got your composure back. I couldn't believe what happened. You were signing autographs, being a great fan favorite. You love to talk to the fans. You're signing autographs. Then what happens? Chris Markoff and Sheik Adnan El Casey, out of nowhere, sneak attack you.
I don't know where those girls are, but like the Baron said, he thinks that I've been had. It was a setup to let those two goons jump me from behind. Is that right, I think that's exactly what happened. If it wasn't for this man right here, I don't know what would have happened. But I'm going to tell you, Markov and the Sheik Adnan El Casey, it's not over. The war has just begun. You might have got the first battle, but I'll tell you, I hope there's one more battle, and that's me against you, Markov, or Sheik, or both of you in the ring at the same time with the Baron and myself.
Tony, Chris Markov, you saw what happened on the monitor there a little earlier on in the match. He's got an open contract. He does not want to fight Ken Patera now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Markov, incidentally, I witnessed everything that happened this evening. Let me tell you one thing, Mr. Markov. Ken Patera asked for a match against you for what happened. Let me tell you another thing. Let me tell you another thing. I have a signed contract by you, manager, and you. That you have an open contract. And I will say and I will state this. If you do not fight Ken Patera, believe me what I'm telling you, at this moment, I will judge and jury. You will never wrestle again for the WFWA in any territory. What are you talking about? I never said it to the judge. And I do not get on earth. I do not follow Ken Patera. Don't you tell me.
Holy cow, I can't believe it.
I want to take it apart.
And since we've got the judge and jury here in Tony Candello, let me tell you something, Sheik Adnan El Casey, for your interference there, you can settle for one of two things, and I'm telling you, you're not going to like what's behind either door. A $10,000 fine for jumping into the ring and interfering. And as well, promoter Tony Candello, he'll tell you for himself, you have an open contract. It will be you against Baron von Raschke next week.
Against the Baron von Raschke right here.
Is that an order?
That's right here.
I'll tell you one thing. If I have no choice, I'll go against the Van Raschke because I know you got that nasty claw. You're not contagious. Some people with it, but I got my manager on my corner. I'm going to beat you, and my man Van is going to beat you, and we're going to destroy you, Patera, and destroy you, Raschke. How you like that?
Well, wrestling fans and Bulldog Bob Brown, I'm just catching my breath. Like you mentioned earlier, minus 35 on the outside, but boy, has it been getting hot inside the squared circle tonight. First of all, it was the interference on Ken Patera, something you were laughing about a little earlier on, but you saw what happened. Tony Candello, the promoter, coming in here. An open contract, and Markov will never wrestle here in Canada again unless he does battle on the 20th with Ken Patera.
All I can tell you is what I witnessed here today. I just witnessed that Ken Patera is overrated and he didn't have any competition. I'm glad he's going to get all the competition coming up. And all I can tell you is I want to be here when it happens. I want to be here when the match takes place. Until then, there's nothing I can say. It's just been a wild, wild match.
And speaking of wild, wild matches, one will be taking place next week's main event, signed right here in the squared circle. Baron von Raschke to do battle with his old nemesis, Sheik Adnan El Casey.
Well, that's going to be a wild, and I'm going to be here to witness it. And all I can tell you is this: Baron von Raschke better have that claw ready because he'll need it.
All right, for Bulldog Bob Brown, I'm Joe Aiello. So long, everybody. All right, everyone, welcome back to another week here on the WFWA Bulldog Bob Brown.
last week's incident the week before. You talk about some great action. Already signed today's main event, the one they're going to be talking about for a long time. Last week, Baron Von Raschke victorious over Shikadin on El Casey, and El Casey requesting a rematch, and it's going to happen in today's main event.
What can I tell you? Don't turn that dial of your television off, because stay tuned, because the greatest match is going to hit the airwaves. From here to the coast, from here to the United States, everybody across the country is going to see this match from beautiful Club Tapu, and all I can tell you is it is 35 below zero outside. I should be in Hawaii with my son, Kerry Pitbull Brown. That's where I should be, but I'm here. I'm enjoying it because I want to see this main event. Bill Cody's been getting a little cocky. Eddie Watts is back, and listen, it's just a great card, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after this important message.
Waiting for a long time now between two light heavyweights, and one of them being hot stuff Eddie Watts and his opponent, one half of the LA Express, Bob, Mike Lazansky, and these two young men you're going to be hearing a lot more of in the world of professional wrestling.
Well, you know, Joe, a couple weeks ago I had that Relinsky, and I tell you, he gave us a lot of problems. There's a lot of potential with this young guy, and I tell you what, only a matter of time you're going to be hearing from these two great athletes, because I think they're two good ones, and I'm expecting a lot of fireworks in this match today.
All right, Mike Lazansky and Eddie Watts ready to lock horns, and there they are right in the middle of the ring. A power struggle here. And Bob, you know, the weeks are getting shorter as they come. In just a couple of weeks, that big main event in Winnipeg as well. Swift Current, Regina, Brandon, stay tuned. Ken Patera, the Olympic strongman, to do battle with Chris Markoff. You know why as well as I do, and all the fans at home, that big interference, the double teaming effort that took place a couple of weeks ago, it all came down to that, and the promoter dropping a bombshell. Tony Condello had an open contract with Chris Markoff, and they've got that match signed, sealed, and delivered.
You know, Joe, what I'm really excited about is that later on in the show, you're going to interview them both back to back. So we could have explosion right here on this show.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, you know, you look at some of the other stars that are coming through the area. You've got yourself and your son, the Pitbull, who's been absent for the last couple of weeks. I don't know where he is. You tell me, Honolulu. WFWA Wrestling, one of the finest organizations in all of North America. And Baron Von Raschke defeating Shikadin on El Casey last week. The Sheik demanding a rematch that he had been cheated, and the Baron obliging. Today's main event, a rematch for the television audience at home all throughout Canada.
Well, I tell you what, I do think the Sheik got a raw deal. I think the referee gave him a fast count, but I'll guarantee you, it won't be no fast count today. Talking to Sheik and now El Casey, he's storming in the back dressing room. I tell you what, he came unglued when I went in and asked him a couple of questions, and he was quite upset that he lost the match, and he is quite upset with the officials of the WFWA, and he's going to lay a formal complaint. Now listen, it's going to be a great match, and I'll tell you, if you people out there can't stand pain, please turn your television off.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for certain, that big battle royal definitely doesn't hurt some action. 15 men in the squared circle at $10,000 to the winner. A lot of people have lost friends over less money than that. You know that as well as I do. And another problem that came up just, I guess last week it was, you and your partner, the Psycho, filling in for your son, did some severe ligament damage to that knee of the French Mad Dog. No word yet on how long the French Mad Dog will be out of action, but later on today, you will have Buffalo Bill Cody in a singles match.
Well, all I can tell you is this, we just sent the dog to the pound.
I'll tell you one thing for certain, though, no matter who you sign against who, the one thing I have to admit about this promotion, evenly matched matches, as you can see right now, with this Mike Lazansky doing battle with Hot Stuff Eddie Watts, both men weighing in just around the same at about 2 1/4, about the same height. These two are genuine light heavyweights, and I'll tell you, if that light heavyweight crown ever comes into effect here, one of these two men might be holding that belt.
And you know, we're coming to you from the most beautiful Club Tapu at the Garden City Inn in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. The place is full. I'll tell you, it's 35 below, but I'll tell you, there's all kinds of action going on in the ring. Here you got two young, fine prospects that's going to go a long way in professional wrestling. They're showing your skills to you today. They need a great compliment, and I'll tell you what, they got mine.
All right, you're talking about Club Taboo, owned by Hospitality Corporation in Winnipeg, one of the finest hotel chains in all of Winnipeg. On the corner of McPhillips and Jefferson, I'll tell you, those cars line up at as early as possible to grab a good seat when the stars of the WFWA are here for that great television taping.
Oh, by the way, just don't forget the beautiful girls. Ooh, I really got excited today.
All right, Bulldog Bob Brown, a little bit of a fringe benefit for the job, I guess you could say. And we are being treated to a great match here. Mike Lazansky on top of things right now, going to work on the left arm, and Bob, that pressure being applied in the forearm all the way up to the rotator cuff in that shoulder.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Lulinsky is Mike Lurinsky. I think I pronounced it right.
Lazansky.
Okay, Mike, I'm awful sorry about that, but listen, he's got the arm. He knows what he's got to do, and we've gone 5 minutes into this match, and it's been nothing but sensational, and it's been a classic match.
We're at the 5-minute mark, like Bob mentioned for you. Mike Lazansky and Hot Stuff Eddie Watts, your broadcasters for this evening. My color man.
Look at the Sheik now.
Well, the Sheik is getting involved. He gets excited every time he hears my name, I think, Bob. Joe Yellow here with Bulldog Bob Brown, a true legend. And Bob, you were traveling all throughout Singapore a few weeks back. As well, Kansas City, Missouri, your home. And you made it back up to Winnipeg to travel through Western Canada around Christmas time. The snow, beautiful out there. I'm not big on the cold either, but I'll tell you, the warm people of Manitoba can sure change that in a hurry for you.
And listen, all I got to tell you is I'm having a fine tour. And listen, we gotta send a message out to the Browns. What a beautiful chef that Joe is. You know, I don't know him. And Lorne and Doug, you know, they just treated me with kindness. No relation whatsoever.
With the same last name, they're probably not agreeing that they're related to you, and I can see why. I wouldn't admit to it either. Oh, Eddie Watts is working over the eyes right now, a move that Bob Brown has made famous for the last 23 years or so. And Bob, why is it you always have a smile on your face when you see a kid like Eddie Watts in there breaking the rules?
Well, you know, I told him before the match started, go out there, Eddie, take it right to him. Cheat if you must, because I tell you, in today's world, you must cheat.
It depends. As what you're saying is, it doesn't matter how you play the game. It's whether you win or lose that counts.
That's all that worries me.
Well, Eddie Watts definitely has the same philosophy as you do when he gets into that squared circle. Otherwise, you wouldn't have signed that multi-year deal with the Golden Sheik. And Mike Lazansky is getting worn down right now in this match. Very evenly matched opponents right now. Lazansky trying to get some blood flowing again, some adrenaline pumping, getting those hands together. And Lazansky is doing a good job because the fans are behind him, and Watts is complaining for the crowd to shut up.
Wonder what he's clapping his hands for. Is he in ballet?
Eddie Watts saying no to a choke. Referee Ricky Jones on top of all the action. And Bulldog Bob Brown. What more can you say about what's coming up in a brand new decade?
Well, 1990 is right around the corner. Well, what can I tell you? Hey, the great cards that promoter Tony Candello is bringing in, and the great talent. You can watch TV wrestling on TV every day of the week. What do you watch? You watch the same old thing over and over. Tony Candello's trying to get away from that. The WFWA is out to prove a point. Bring in new talent. That's how your TV ratings rocket.
All right. We're calling it the Superstar Spectacular coming up in January. Stay tuned to this program. We'll give you more details a little later on. Already signed, the main event. Olympic strongman Ken Patera taking on Chris Markoff. You talk about a 15-man battle royal for $10,000 to the winner.
And I'll tell you what's coming up today for the television audience, that main event. What more can you say? Baron von Raschke victorious last week. Shikad on El Casey says he's been cheated, that von Raschke had a hold of the trunks. You saw it and I saw it, and all the great fans saw it. No problem with that win, a straight victory, and that match has been re-signed for today, and that's coming up in this program. Bob, what more?
You sound like a broken record, Joe. I know what's coming up. I've already told the people out there. Listen to me. You get so excited you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, a big knee that catapults Mike Lazansky into a 360 right onto his back, and Lazansky is trying to catch his breath, and Lazansky right now holding on to his midsection, and Eddie Watts taking his time. That might be the wrong thing to do.
He's not taking his time. He's setting him up. Listen, Eddie Watts knows what he's doing. He's not called the Wolverine for nothing.
Big body slam. Picked him up, no problem there. So obviously you can see we're at the 10-minute mark. Bob Brown keeping an eye on things here for us at ringside. This Eddie Watts doesn't look like a big fella, but he's got a lot of upper body strength.
Oh, he's great. He's just a natural. Looks a lot like me.
Well, let's not take anything away from the young man's looks, Bob. If he looked anything like you, I'm not trying to cut down the way you look, but you never made it into the world of professional wrestling over your looks, and you know that as well as I do.
You're just jealous, Joe. Let me tell the fans what happened last night. A beautiful girl came walking up the table where we're having a beer, and all of a sudden you thought she was walking to you. She walked to me and said, "Let's go, Bulldog." So I got one over you.
All right. How can you compete with a man like Bulldog Bob Brown? I'm still trying to figure it out myself. Eddie Watts working over that knee now, and you can see by the look of pain on Mike Lazansky's face. I tell you, this Eddie Watts is a man to be reckoned with, as well as Mike Lazansky.
There's four minutes left in this match.
15-minute time limit, 4 minutes left in the match. We've been told by our timekeeper here at ringside, and I'll tell you, this one has been going back and forth, but Eddie Watts has been working over that arm and now sizing down the leg.
Yeah, but you know, Eddie Watts hasn't got this match won. I'll tell you, this kid that's on the mat right now, I'll tell you, I expect big things from him. And I'll tell you, Eddie Watts better move in. If he's got any chance of winning this match, he better do it now. Because if he gives Mike a chance, Mike's got so many things that he's capable of putting this match away.
A good-looking kid from Los Angeles, California. Then Eddie Watts is going to try and break the leg of Mike Lazansky, and I'm not a big fan of that. And Lazansky in a lot of pain there. You're adding some extra leverage. The knee is not supposed to bend that much, Bob.
Well, we got a silly fan walking up to the ring. I tell you, Eddie Watts is so vicious that the people are trying to come and help him.
Look at the viciousness performed right now by Eddie Watts. I tell you, I've seen these two opponents.
All I can tell you is it's 3 minutes to go in this match.
3 minutes remaining. Bob, I've seen these two men compete one time previous. It ended in a 15-minute draw, back and forth, both giving high-flying maneuvers, and now the fans know what's going on here. They're getting on the side of Mike Lazansky, the good-looking kid from Los Angeles, California.
You see now, he worked his leg for 2 or 3 minutes, and now he's got him in a spinning toe hold. Of course, you know who made that famous. Dory Funk Jr. He won the World Championship when he beat Gene Kiniski in Florida. And listen, that was a great, great match. I happened to be there, and I tell you, I'm looking at Eddie Watts now. He's got the same hold on Mike Lazansky.
Some great wrestling trivia passed on by Bulldog Bob Brown, of course, one of the greatest.
2 minutes to go.
2 minutes remaining in this match. 2 minutes remaining. And Lazansky and Watts both sweating profusely, both giving it their all in this match. And Watts is working over that leg one more time here. I'll tell you, Mike Lazansky's going to have problems walking after this one's all over. And Lazansky surprising everybody in the house here tonight. Nice scissor kick there that got him out of that hold. He's got to get some blood flowing through that leg and get it moving again, Bob.
Oh, my goodness.
We're down to the last minute in this one. 1 minute left, and Mike Lazansky knows he's got to pour it on. Introducing them to east, north, south, and west. And the crowd getting behind him. You can hear him. 7, 8, 9, 10. And 10 is enough. And doesn't know whether he's coming or going, Bob.
Exciting match. Boy, I'm right into this match here.
We've got half a minute remaining in this one, Bob. 30 seconds, a 2 count there by Lazansky. Just under half a minute remaining. Not much time. Going for that pin. The bell has rung. This one has been declared a 15-minute draw. And Bulldog, what a match it was between Hot Stuff Eddie Watts
Well, I'll
and
tell you
Mike
the truth, the people
Lazansky.
should get up and give these two a standing ovation, because all I can tell you is it was a great, great, great match, and I'm looking forward to interviewing Eddie Watts.
All right, let's go to the Bulldog inside the ring with Hot Stuff Eddie Watts.
Eddie, a sensational match. Listen, you went 15-minute draw. I thought you had the match won at 3 or 4 different occasions. You just didn't come up with the right thing. But then again, I thought you were playing with him.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, I thought I had the man beat, but I didn't count on the distractions I'd have in the building. I got a 400-pound lady over here. She's eating popcorn so loud, the building is shaking. I got a fat lady behind me. She thinks she's so great. She's the best-looking lady in the room. Well, I'll tell you who's the best-looking person in the room. Hot Stuff Eddie Watts, the hottest-looking property around. The Sheik knows I'm hot. He takes care of me. I got the money coming out of all my pockets, and we're taking care of business. I'm handing out Christmas presents anywhere you go. Mike Lazansky, you got lucky. I took your luck. I took your light. I took your real light. But I ain't going to do it again.
I got one thing to ask you, Eddie. You know, you're not the biggest man in professional wrestling. Then again, you're not the smallest. But let me remind you one thing. There's a big battle royal coming up. Tell me, are you capable of winning that $10,000?
That's right. I ain't the biggest man, but I ain't the smallest. But I'm one of the meanest, one of the smartest, and I can fight from one to this side of the ring. I can fight to that side of the ring. You ain't gonna catch me in a battle royal. Ken Patera, oh, you big man, give me your best shot. You won't find me, and then you can't throw me out. I'm right behind your back, and I'm gonna knock you over.
Well said. I couldn't do any better myself. We'll be right back after this important message.
We've got Beef Burton from Chicago, Illinois. Bulldog, a man that weighs in at 245 pounds, worked through the meat plants all throughout Chicago, one of the biggest industries in all of Illinois. And you can see there's a lot of beef on that man. 245 pounds against the Titan from no man's land.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got two people here are looking for big wins. A win by either one of these guys would really put them up the rankings, Joe. And I'm looking forward for a tough, tough contest.
Well, you can see there, Beef Burton had something in his left hand behind his back. The referee, Ricky Jones, didn't catch it. Then he planted something in his knee. Whether he's got anything there or not, I don't know. The Titan wasn't able to see anything. And there he goes again, right back to that knee. And now I don't know. Ricky Jones gave him a good check. Let's give the referee the benefit of the doubt. Beef Burton, one tough customer out of Chicago, Illinois.
Well, you know, Beef Burton comes from, I'll tell you the truth, he comes from the great state. He was trained in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I happened to be at the training camp when he was training under the great Eddie Sharkey. And you know Eddie Sharkey, he trains the best. You talk about training, he trained the Road Warriors. You know what they've done. And listen, the Demolition from another circuit. You know, he's done a tremendous job. And I'm going to tell you, this guy's here today. He hasn't looked his best, but I'm going to tell you, he's coming on, and I expect big things from Burton.
Definitely a good body on him. Take a look at those arms and the chest. Now says his home's in Chicago, Illinois, working those meat packing plants, if you will, and whatever it took to get those kind of muscles. He did a good job at it, Bob. Tell you one thing for certain, he's not really ready and willing, I guess, to settle the score with the Titan here, because he's wasting a heck of a lot of time here with the referee. Is this a psych job or what?
Well, I'll tell you, he's getting Titan a little nervous. The Titan's walking around like he just got out of bed. But I'll tell you what, he'll get out of bed real quick if Burton pours it on him.
I am very impressed, like you said. Okay, Beef Burton, not you always said, though, Bob, a lot of times.
Let me tell you something, Joe. The quickest way to wake somebody up, and you know what it is, I'm great at it, slap somebody in the face.
Well, that's adding like a big insult there, that you're one step ahead of your opponent, and the Titan gives them one in return. A clean break there by the Titan as far as I was concerned. I don't know what beef is.
To tell you the truth, he's not doing that great of a job tangling up with the Titan. Is he a little scared? What's the problem here, Bob? I have no idea.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're feeling each other out. Listen, they've never met before. Hey, listen, I'd be a little nervous too if I got in the ring. That the guy was 6'4", about 275 pounds. Long drink of water is what I would call him, but he looks pretty sharp. Hey, listen, I'd be scared too.
The Titan, not no slouch either, weighing in at 265 pounds from no man's land. Burton not really impressing the crowd with one big arm drag, but I tell you, he's doing a good job psyching out the Titan, because the Titan is wasting a lot of energy trying to get this match underway, and Burton just keeps prancing around.
I'll tell you what, he better get it. He better get with it real quick, and don't give Burton a much chance to get going, because once Burton gets going, he's hard to stop, Joe. I've watched him in the last couple weeks. Like I said, he hasn't looked great, but I tell you, he hasn't looked too bad.
All right, a hip toss there. And Beef Burton going at it with the crowd now, trying to impress everybody with his strength. So what more can you say as far as I'd be concerned? Beef Burton, big body slam coming, and there it is. This Burton showing a lot of strength. He's yelling at me now, saying he wants some competition.
You know, maybe he's got the answer. He said, give me some competition. But I tell you what, he better not fool around with this tall drink of water too much, because I tell you what, if he does, it could backfire, Joe.
Very good point, and I see what you're talking about here, because the Titan has turned things around for the moment. Big body slam coming, Bob. Picked him up like he was no problem at 245 pounds. Now Burton says he needs a break.
Well, I think he pulled Burton by the trunks and slammed him by hanging on to the tights. I'm really sure of that, Joe. I think I was looking at the right match.
Bob, if I could take this time out, I know you're behind me 110%. Just getting past the 5-minute mark here in this one. But I'd like to send out a big hello to the shut-ins that view the program week after week. You know, we get a lot of cards and letters from them, and it's too bad that they can't always make it out to the program.
I get a lot of cards. More cards than you get.
All right, Bulldog Bob Brown, whatever the point may be, a big hello to all the fans coast to coast across Canada and parts of the United States. And Bob, what a show promoter Tony Candello has signed for some parts of Western Canada, from Winnipeg all the way throughout Saskatchewan and other parts. The main event already signed. Ken Patera to do battle with the big Russian Chris Markov. How would you size up these two men against each other?
Well, when I size up the WFWA, it's going to be in your area very, very shortly. If you get an opportunity to go out to the matches, you're going to see something that you've never saw before. Listen, there's no substitutions. Listen, we got strict referees. You're not going to see any run-ins for somebody to help somebody. The referees, David Putnam, has been told and ordered to disqualify anybody that comes in. And then again, it's up to his discretion. David Putnam, known in the past, will continue the match. So all I can tell you is, when you see the WFWA, hey, take it in. You're going to be really surprised.
As well, you got to talk about some great action. That big battle royal is going to be one of the biggest battle royals in all of wrestling history. That's why the promotion has called this one the Superstar Spectacular, the month of January. Stay tuned for more details. I'm telling you, Ken Patera already signed. He says that's in the back of his mind after defeating Chris Markov. As far as he's concerned, you talk about what else we have coming up later on in the program. A rematch between Baron Von Raschke and his opponent, Sheikh Adnan El Casey.
Well, that's explosive. A really explosive match coming up right here on television. And I'll guarantee you, I told you last week, if there was a rematch given, you'll get explosive from Casey and Baron Von Raschke.
Well, I'll tell you, it might become the 4th of July in January if those two men erupt, because I tell you, both men have been going at it for a long time. It's traveled to Canada. Nothing really settled last week. The Baron won the match, but the Sheik claiming he was cheated out of a victory. That's why this match has been signed for later on in the program. And as well, we're going to have a chance to talk to the Olympic great Ken Patera and see his views, as well as the big Russian Chris Markov.
Don't say we. You've got the honors, because I don't want to talk to either one.
All right, the words of Bulldog Bob Brown. He's going to be setting himself up for his big match, psyching it up against Buffalo Bill Cody. And what are you smiling about, Bill? Or Bulldog, you know why that match was signed after what you two had done to the French Mad Dog a week ago.
Well, I tell you, I'm not getting excited about it. You're the one that's going haywire. I'm just going to go out and wrestle Bill Cody to the best of my ability. I'm going to give 125%. When the smoke clears the ring, you'll understand why Bulldog Bob Brown is not only the best color commentator in professional wrestling, but you're going to find out that Bulldog's the best in professional wrestling.
All right, right now, the Beefer, Beef Burton, is going to work on that arm of the Titan and doing a good job wrenching it for more pain. A lot of pressure grinding over that arm, and I thought I heard a snap there, Bob. I'm not too sure.
That was your brain.
Bob, sometimes things are better left unsaid, Bob. Burton doing a great job, methodical wrestler. He hasn't been around for a long time, but you can see he spends a lot of time in that gym.
I told you some time ago that Buffalo Bill Cody has got brain damage. And furthermore, wrestling me today, he'll have further damage when I get through with him, believe me.
All right, we'll have to wait and see what happens in that one. Two of the true legends in professional wrestling will do battle later on in this program. Buffalo Bill Cody to step in the ring with my colleague here at ringside, Bulldog Bob Brown. And is he ever working over that arm right now? Beef Burton is anyway on the Titan. The Titan, I don't think he's got any feeling left in that left arm of his. And Burton landed some haymakers right onto that bicep.
You know, we've gone 10 minutes into this match, and we haven't had a winner yet. And I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you the truth, I think Burton's having a little trouble with this big, tall drink of water. So that's why I say earlier in the match, when he had an opportunity to move in, Joe, he should have moved in. Because you know, when I move in, it's usually over.
Like a vulture on his prey, Bulldog Bob Brown, I have to agree with you 100%. I still can't believe what happened to the French Mad Dog a week ago. Actually, I can believe what happened. I was just a little bit surprised, and you're laughing about the matter and a bunch of other things that are coming up in weeks to come. Your son, I'm going to drill you with this question one more time, Bob. There's no way that man could be anywhere near Honolulu, Hawaii. I honestly think the father and son team might have parted ways.
Parted ways? You know, I'm going to tell you, I don't know what you use that head for, Joe. It's certainly not thinking. Parting ways? How can a father and son part ways? We've got the world right in our hands, and we've been taking it all over Canada and the United States, and we've been winning.
So where is the Pitbull? On holidays? Is that what you're saying?
Honolulu, Hawaii, along with David Putnam. They got a big match there. He's against Sam Steamboat.
All right. So they should be back in weeks to come as well.
Oh, yes.
All right. You heard it straight from the dog's mouth, I guess you could say. The father of the father and son combination of the Browns, one of the true wrestling talents, the family, one of the best tag teams, both great stars in singles competition as well. And that's what we have going right now, a great singles match between Beef Burton, the meat man from Chicago, Illinois, against the Titan. And he's got a choke going on there right now, Bob, and the referee can't see what's going on. Going for that choke one more time, Ricky Jones. I can't see how he can't see what's going on here. And Burton's going for the pin. And only a 2 count.
There's really not too much time left in this match. Don't tell me that we're going to have another draw, because I'll tell you the truth, I thought this match would be over a long time ago. If I was in there, believe me, it would have been over, Joe.
Well, I'll tell you, that sometimes happens when two men stepping in the ring for the first time against each other. They took a long time to size each other up, Bob. You know that as well as I do. And the Titan going up for a monkey flip, and there it is. And Burton gets sent across the ring. The Titan going for that pin. No way, there's no way Beef Burton's going to not kick out of that after 2 count. He's going right to work on those eyes. This Beef Burton, a rough and tough individual out of Chicago, and I guess you have to be to come out of the Chicago area, Bob.
Oh, did you see that slam? Almost drove him right through the mat.
And under that mat, you know what there is? A lot of steel and plywood, and I saw it bend as much as you did.
Oh, beautiful over there.
This one might be it. And that's it. Your winner, a newcomer to these parts, and he's going to have a chance to talk with Bulldog Bob Brown.
13 minutes, 34 seconds. You beat the long drink of water Titan. What's down the line for Biff?
Beef Burton is going to be moving up to bigger and better things soon. If it's going to start with this bomb right here, any of these people here in the bunch, I don't care. I'm looking at people like Ken Patera, this Crick Markovs, any of these other guys. I don't care if it's even you. I've heard you're quite a legend in your time. Do you think you can handle a piece of this new young blood?
Well, that's not worry about me. You know, you got a big battle royal coming up down the road. What is your intentions on $10,000 for the winner?
$10,000, that'd be some nice Christmas money coming up. I think just like all these people are saying, you're looking at the winner of this battle royal coming up right now. I think you should get me a bigger guy next time so I got more of a challenge to come out with. But tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Chicago. I grew up in the stockyards. I've been fighting people like this all my life, all these people right here. If you guys think you're so tough, brother, jump on the chair, put your cigarette on once, put your shoes on with me.
All right, everyone. You talk about that big spectacular, the superstar spectacular that's coming throughout Winnipeg, Brandon, Swift Current, Regina. The list goes on and on throughout Western Canada. And Mark Allen, it took place a couple of weeks ago when Ken Patera was battling the Titan. The match was won, and you went to the man's soft spot, his heart, while he was signing autographs with the fans. Your 2 men, one of them standing here next to me, Chris Markoff, and Sheik Adnan El Casey, interfered in the match, and that's
Why
when...
don't you shut up and tell the people the truth? I didn't do nothing. Only one thing I've been done. Force it to get in against Ken Ventura in the ring. Ken Ventura, you're not wrestler. You're white lifter. You're strong and big and fat. But this time, I've been forced it, and you know the Russians is the best. And 15, I'm coming right here in Winnipeg, Canada, for one reason, to show you, because the Russians is the best and nobody else. And you people right here in Winnipeg, Canada, don't you forget it. Bring it the Russian flag. Give me that salute, and you say, the Russians is the best. Don't you forget.
All right, that date once again, January 20th in Winnipeg, a Saturday night you won't ever forget. And we'll give you those other dates in just a few moments. But Mark Allen, you and your man might have bitten off a bit more than you can chew.
Bite off more than we could chew. After negotiating the contract and going over it, we can see that we're going to have to wrestle Ken Patera. And like Chris Markoff said, he's not a wrestler. He's a weightlifter. And now he's going to have to get in the ring on the 15th, and he's going to have to meet a real wrestler. I don't think he can handle it personally.
All through that week of January, starting on the 15th and so on through the 20th throughout Western Canada, it will be Chris Markoff to do battle with the Olympic strongman Ken Patera. No negotiations were had. The promoter forced the Big Russian to sign the match or he would never be able to wrestle again in Canada. And we'll have to see what transpires that night. The Big Russian, Chris Markoff, does battle with the Olympic strongman.
You better believe it. I've been forced it. I've been framed it. But I'll show you the Russians is the best and nobody else. Ken Ventura, be ready, because I've been looking for you all over the world, and I'll get you right now in Canada. And you go on your knees and you say, Tavarish Markov, please let me go. I'm coming. I'm coming. Don't you forget. And I'll be here. And I'll show you Ken Ventura.
We'll have to let the action do the talking. Stay tuned with more great wrestling action as well. More details on that Battle Royal and the rest of that card throughout January. Let's go to the ring with Ken Patera. All right, everyone, you just heard from the Big Russian, Chris Markoff, with his manager, the Golden Idol.
We're only about a week away, Ken Patera. And like I mentioned to Chris Markoff, they got to you, right in the heart. You were signing some autographs. I know you always take time out for the kids, the ladies, the gentlemen, whatever it takes. And that's when they did it, the sneak attack, the one that got you from behind. The Baron came in, a good friend of yours, but you said you would not step back in the ring unless you had the big Russian, Chris Markoff. Promoter Tony Condello came back out here, and he says that match will be signed. Now Markoff changing his tune a little bit. He says that he wants nothing to do with you, the Olympic Strongman.
Well, let's put it this way. Chris Markoff, if you're relying on the Golden Idol for some assistance, well, you might as well pack it in and leave town right now. You know, since I was growing up through high school and college, through the Olympic Games, and 17 years of professional wrestling now, I have never been torpedoed, Pearl Harbored from behind while giving autographs or taking a picture session or something like that. And now you take it upon yourself, you and that sheikhead on El Casey, to torpedo me, submarine me. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Chris Markoff. You got away with it. But I'm going to have a little surprise for you. On the 20th, you're not going to get away with it then, because paybacks are going to be real strong. I'm going to whip up on your watermelon head for a long time. If I get you down in a pin position, 1, 2, 3, I'm not going to let the referee count 3. I'm going to jerk you up at the count of 2 and beat on you some more.
All right, wrestling fans, the words of the Olympic strongman. He says he's ready to do battle with Chris Markoff. Make sure you get your tickets early. We'll be right back. Tights being held, either did the fans at home. One thing for certain, though, that's why this match has been signed. And this one should determine it all. If the Baron wins this one, I don't see how Sheik Adnan El Casey could ever speak up about the Baron again if the Baron's victorious. Meanwhile, if the Sheik wins this one, all of a sudden you're back to where you started from, Bob.
Yes, but he's got to lose it. But I'll tell you the truth, right now, it's been an even match back and forth. They've gone almost 6 minutes in this match of non-stop action. So listen, they got a lot of time and anything may happen. But I'll tell you, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I'd bet on El Casey.
And El Casey yelling right now that a choke. But I don't see any choke, and neither does referee Ricky Jones. Two of the real heavyweights in the world of professional wrestling, Sheik Adnan El Casey, the bad man from Baghdad, Iraq, managed by the Golden Idol, Mark Allen, as well as the Golden Sheik. And let me tell you something about the Baron. A man, I've seen him crush a Super Ball. You know those rubber balls, Bob, that you used to bounce off the wall and bounce everywhere? I've seen a man squeeze and squeeze till he crushed it with that claw hand.
You're talking about handball.
Now the manager, the Golden Idol, getting on his case.
Very smart move. He was in trouble, put his foot over the rope. Now the referee's got to break it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, the Baron's not going to break cleanly in this match, and I don't blame him. Why should he? I don't think the Sheik's ever broken cleanly once in his entire wrestling career. And about Captain Kangaroo over here at ringside, his manager, Mark Allen, the fans call him Captain Kangaroo, and I can see why. A little chubby.
I've had about enough of you and your Captain Kangaroo. What's this, Mr. Penguin?
All as I'm saying is, Mark Allen, I am not calling you Captain Kangaroo. I'm just passing along what the fans...
Look at my body. Look at this. Beautiful. $5,000 custom-made suit. And you're calling me Captain Kangaroo? It won't go over here.
Once again, I'm telling you what the fans are calling you, Captain Kangaroo, and your man is on top of things right now against the Baron.
That's right. You're looking at the greatest wrestler from Baghdad, Iraq. The Middle Eastern's greatest athlete in action. Keep your eyes on him. And I'm telling the people of Canada, we've got some big surprises coming up.
All right, the words of the Golden Idol, Mark Allen, and the Sheik is raking at the eyes of the Baron, and Bulldog, a move that he's made famous over the years.
Well, it's certainly been a struggle for Baron von Raschke. He's really been in trouble now for the last 2 or 3 minutes. And I'll tell you what, Sheik El Casey is taking it right to him the way I thought he would. It's been a tough match. Can you imagine
if they don't settle it here, can you imagine that big battle royal coming down the road?
Oh, the battle royal as well, Markov and Patera. I don't even want to get to the rest of the card, but fans, stay tuned. We'll give you those dates a little later on in the program. We've got to be getting close to that 10-minute mark in this one. We're just waiting for the announcement from our ring announcer.
You don't know the time too good. They've just now passed the 8:50 mark into this grueling affair.
I'm 1 minute and 10 seconds off, but I'll tell you one thing. When you're having a good time, boy, time really flies, and this one's been a great match so far.
Well, it's just the beginning. I'll tell you, I can expect a lot more fireworks than this. This match is far from being over.
Well, one thing for certain, the Baron, having the crowd behind him, is regaining his senses here. And Al Casey right on top of him like the true veteran he is. And he's going to work on that midsection.
Let me remind you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. When you see the WFWA in your town, hey, go out and take it in, because I tell you, you're in for a lot of surprise. They got a lot of great talent, more to coming in. Hey, big Ricky Rice, a fabulous Ricky Rice from Minnesota. He's on his way. I hear Eddie Gilbert is on his way. Hey, the world's heavyweight champion, Ric Flair, is on his way. So it should be quite a year in the WFWA professional wrestling.
All right, the words of Bulldog Bob Brown. Maybe he knows something I don't just yet. But I'm telling you, when the man speaks, you got to listen. Bulldog Bob Brown joining me here at ringside for the last few weeks. And Bob, this one had to happen, and you can see why. And now, Shikadnon, L. Casey is raking at the back, going to work on the front, and the crowd, I'm getting goosebumps again, Bob. You can hear the fans chanting, Baron, and look at the face of the Baron. Nothing's going to stop him now.
Oh, my goodness. I hear it. Here comes Baron von Raschke. Here's one of his favorite looks. I'll tell you what, there he comes.
Holy Toledo. I'm telling you, you don't want to make the big German mad. And take a look. You're wincing at those kicks landing. The crowd getting behind him. I can barely hear you, Bob.
I told you there'd be fireworks in here. Here comes the fabulous crowd now.
Yeah, well, he did it last week. He tried to get that quad. It didn't work. And he's got him in the rope. And Dave Goebel's been distracted. Oh, come on. Mark Allen, the manager. Oh. Bulldog Bob Brown, you saw what happened as well as I did. The Baron had him where he wanted him with that claw hold. Mark Allen interfered. Come on.
I'm going to tell you, it was a great match. I didn't see no interference. The Baron fell backwards, and as dumb as he really is, and L. Casey just climbed the top of him. I just thought he was clumsy.
Bulldog, come on. Give it to him the way it was. Referee didn't see what happened. You saw that one.
All I can tell you is, Joey, you got the honors. Why don't you go up and talk to him about it?
All right, everyone. Baron von Raschke, you've been cheated out of a big win. And coming up in January, each man one win apiece now here in the WFWA. Something's got to be done. And I know you want that big man one more time.
There wasn't a victory for the Sheik. You saw the foot. He pulled a foot from outside that Captain Kangaroo guy, whatever he is. I'll tell you something. Shikadnon LKC. The next time we get in the ring, and I guess it'll be in January, you're gonna feel the claw, and no matter what Captain Kangaroo and that other desert rat do, you're not gonna get away. The claw is going to clamp on.
All right, Baron von Raschke.
And squeeze.
You want to talk about some action? The big man won his match against Shikadnon L. Casey a couple of weeks back. Shipped out a victory, if you will. It's all coming down in January throughout Western Canada when Baron von Raschke, signed by promoter Tony Condello, to do battle one more time. The deciding factor against Shikadnon L. Casey. Also signed Chris Markov to do battle with Ken Patera. And once again, the big battle royal, 15 men, 4,000 pounds, almost 4,000
pounds. I'm going to drop to the floor. Shake out on LKC. You're not going to make it to the Battle Royal. I promise you that. Over the top rope. To the cement. That's all you'll need to know.
Watch. All right, everyone. Baron Von Raschke, you've been cheated out of a big win. And coming up in January, each man one win apiece now here in the WFWA. Something's got to be done. And I know you want that big man one more time.
There wasn't a victory for the Sheik. You saw the foot. He pulled a foot from outside, that Captain Kangaroo guy, whatever he is. I'll tell you something. Sheik out on LKC. The next time we get in the ring, and I guess it'll be in January, you're going to feel the claw. And no matter what Captain Kangaroo and that other desert rat do, you're not going to get away. The claw is going to clamp on.
All right, Baron Von
Raschke. And squeeze.
You want to talk about some action? The big man won his match against Shikad on El Casey a couple of weeks back. Chip got a victory, if you will. It's all coming down in January throughout Western Canada when Baron Von Raschke, signed by promoter Tony Condello, to do battle one more time. The deciding factor against Shikad on El Casey. Also signed Chris Markoff to do battle with Ken Patera. And once again, the big battle royal, 15 men, 4,000 pounds, almost 4,000
pounds. I'm going to to the floor. Shake out on LKC. You're not going to make it to the battle royal. I promise you that. Over the top rope, to the cement. That's all you'll need to know from Baron Von Raschke.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Clawmaster, Baron Von Raschke, signed, sealed, and delivered for that big card in January. Let's go. The Bulldog, Bob Brown, with Shikadnon L. Casey.
Shikadnon L. Casey, they call it one apiece now, and he's challenged you for the third time, which I believe is going to be Western Canada's tour. Now, you've got that match, and then you got the big $10,000 battle royal. So there's a lot of things coming in 1990 that you should be really pleased with.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He won one time here in the ring, which is he held my tights, you know. Now he thinks that I cheated him, but I did not cheat. You know that. You were in the ringside watching, weren't you? But I guarantee you one thing, Baron Von Raschke, if you want to go in the ring, I'll be ready anytime, any day, anywhere, here in Canada, anywhere in the country, because I know I could beat you. And I don't care about the fine, I don't care about anything. I'll be here when he's going to show up.
Well, you know, I'm sure that you didn't save the best for Mr. Claw himself, Baron Von Raschke. I've watched you for many years, and tonight I didn't see the best of you, but I'm sure you're saving it for the big tour.
You better believe it, I'm saving it. I want to show him everything. I don't want him to give him all my things, you know. He can learn it.
Yes.
I have to hide it from him.
Yes.
But when I get him next time, and I would prove it to you, Von Raschke, you're going to see the Sheik all over you from one corner to another.